little after 9 a.m. and the Baker County Board of Commissioners now in session. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dear Father in heaven, thank you for bringing each and every one of us here today. Thank you for all the blessings you've given us. And as we lead into the Christmas season, please let us keep our hearts to what the season represents. Guide our words, our thoughts, and our actions, and give us the strength and the wisdom to lead. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. So you did it backwards again. Invocation comes first and then the pledge of allegiance.
Oh,
I just
I always thought it was Pledge of Allegiance first.
According to this.
I read it and I just asked Christina, is this?
All the you people.
Well, I can't let people get comfortable with the process.
Well, I know. Got me confused all the time.
All right, do we have agenda changes?
We are removing juvenile circuit court grant application ratification.
Okay, what number is that?
Under number 7, ratification of documents on the back.
It's on the back. I wonder I can't find it. There we go. Did you find your financial reports in that second?
Yep.
Okay. So I know where everything is. All right. One thing, I noticed we've got a new member of the press. I just moved.
Not exactly.
Okay.
No, I've just been separate from the circuit.
Oh, I got you. Who are you representing?
I'm in bigger city here.
Oh, you are? Okay, good.
This is Ian Crawford.
Oh, okay. I think I met you one time, or at least
Just
while I
about.
was in there, or saw the back of your head as I was swinging by.
I met him last year, but
Good.
I just met him again and
Okay.
asked his name. So that's how I knew his name. So
Citizen participation. If anyone has anything to bring forward that isn't on the agenda, this is the time. All right, well, looks like anybody online? Okay, we'll go on to review and approval of minutes for October 18th, 2023 and November 8th, 2023 special commission minutes.
I went through it. I didn't see anything wrong.
everything looked fine.
It's good.
And
It looked right to me.
so I'll make a motion that we approve October 18th, 2023 commission session minutes as written.
A second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. All right. $47.
We have to approve the 8th.
Oh, sure.
I was gonna let him do
That's
it.
right. All right, so November 8th, do we have?
I read those two and they looked fine.
Yes, they do.
They look good to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll make a motion that we approve November 8th, 2023 special commission session minutes as written.
A second.
All right, have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. All right, I will now open public hearing for, let me go first here. I will now open public hearing order adopting a Baker County 2024 fee schedule. First up, we have anybody that would like to speak in support of the fee schedule? Okay. Would anybody like to speak against adopting the fee schedule for 24? Okay, saying none. Do we have any discussion?
Do we have to approve separately on,
I don't think so. You
on
can,
all of them or just as a package?
No, it's a fee schedule for the entire county, so.
And this is just the first,
And this is the first reading,
yeah.
Okay,
and this is an order, not an ordinance, so we can.
so you just have to list
Yeah,
the departments.
So the drafts are on the website, so if anybody wants to look at them, and then anybody who wants to submit any comments can until 5 p.m. on December 19th.
Okay,
okay. And then they would direct those comments to you?
Yeah.
Okay. In writing, not just come into the office and say,
I don't like
please,
it.
Right.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the first of 2 public hearings to receive comment on the proposed 2024 fee schedule. The proposed changes are listed by department, with some departments not having any changes. We will need to make sure we ask for public testimony. The draft is located on our website. Written comments can be sent to, well, Aaron's email address, which can be found on the county website, and must be received, as Aaron just said, by 5 o'clock on December 19th, 2023. So,
okay.
we're ready
you want to
for,
talk about the fees or you not want to?
yeah, we're in discussion, so.
Well,
Okay.
so basically there's some fee increases in copy costs for audits and photocopies in all county departments, basically. Electronic copies stayed the same, but administrative staff and technical management level staff and legal staff all raised from, let's see, administration staff per hour cost was 25 before, but was raised to 45. Technical and management level staff was 45, raised to 70. Legal staff was 110, raised to 150. And that all related to public records requests, and we had a lot of them, and it took a lot of time and effort to get those out. So there had to be some fee increases there. And then there's also some fee increases through the health department, primarily for certain types of vaccines or shots, whatever. And those are kind of typical. They all look fairly reasonable, not exorbitant at all. The sheriff's, or excuse me, district attorney's office has a homicide and other felonies fee of $150 per 1,000 pages. And then media processing, I don't know exactly what that means, but it says $20 each. And all the other fees stayed pretty much the same in that department. Justice court, everything was much the same. Museum raised their tours from $2 to $4 for school tour, child and adult fees. And both museums, which would be the Adler House and the regular museum, raised up to $16 and for adults. And then both museums for seniors, they raised, actually dropped the fee from $15 to $14 for us old guys. And let's see, to use the museum in the evening for basically historical purposes and stuff, they raised their fee to rent the museum in the evening, a daily rate from $400 to $500. I think, yeah, here's some more. The parks had some fee increases. out at the Snake River in Holcomb Park there, or not Snake River, but two at
Hewitt.
Holcomb Parks. From $22 per night to $25 per night for electric and water hookup fees. Regular camping fee from 16 to 20. Battery charging for boats and moorage is $20 per night. And let's see, firewood, they have $5 per bundle and it was raised to $7. And apparently we were getting some return checks there, so it went from 25 to 40 increase. Recoup that somehow. And other than that, everything was, oh, Holly's planning fees. Did she talk to you about this? Holly's fees? But I didn't actually read it on this one.
I read through it. I didn't mention
Oh,
that
here,
she was-
okay. Here,
Oh, yeah.
Here it is, okay. So, we've had some road naming, fees here, and that went from 400 to 450. Says when a single road sign is needed, and then 175 additional for each additional sign needed. And then 300 to Baker County Road Department for, well, just a road naming fee, I guess. And then plus $150 to plan them. And any plan amendment with a goal exception, something for a measure 56 notice. Do you know what that is?
For what now?
Measure 56 notice. Do you know what that is? I think it must be a lot more
Off the top of my
disclosures or
head, I
something.
don't know.
So anyway, those costs are $2,000 or a negotiated plus or minus rate. And then without a goal exception, it's another measure 56 notice. That's $1,250 there. So
I looked up measure 56,
Hmm.
in case you're wondering.
you did.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was passed, approved by the voters in November 1998 general election. Requires cities and counties to send notice to affected property owners when a city or county makes a change in the zoning of that property.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Then the sheriff's office had a few more fees for boat registration fees. Says per line, but anyway, $5.50, maximum of $11. And then I think this means civil procedure deliveries to occupants at residences and stuff. 1 to 2 parties, $50 each, 3 parties, $84, 4 parties, $112, and then a service fee on top of that if it goes to step 3 enforcement of $89. And concealed handgun permits, if you're more than 45 days expired, increase up to $90. And that $90, 75 goes to the county, $15 goes to the Oregon State Police. That's about it.
Did you get the first one, the administration fees or administrative services copy of auditor budget went from 15
$20.
to 20?
I forgot to say that, but yeah. And that's pretty dang cheap with auditor.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all of them. Now you know what I know. We're all confused, of course, but so. Okay, so that's the first reading. We have to have a second reading.
So did
That's
we
on-
take testimony?
We did.
Yeah.
And nobody, do we,
So we're motion to continue.
We need a motion to continue. So I'll make a motion that we continue the meeting to December 20th. At whatever time you're gonna put it on the schedule.
all right, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. We'll continue to December 20th. I will now close public hearing for the fee schedule. Okay, you look like you were gonna say something. All right. Next up, we have a public hearing for the reading of ordinance 2023, adopting ordinance authorizing an operation of all-terrain vehicles on designated county roadways, repealing and replacing ordinance number 2017-03. Public hearing is now open. This is the second and final reading of ordinance 2023-02. Oh, that's right. An ordinance authorizing the operation of all-terrain vehicles on designated county roadways, repealing and replacing ordinance number 2017-03. We have any comments from staff?
Did Aaron receive any?
Have you
Since the
received
first
any?
reading?
Okay. Do we have any testimony in favor of the ordinance? Anybody online? Okay. Do we have any testimony in opposition of the ordinance? And no one online? Okay, seeing none, can I get a motion to approve the final reading and adopt ordinance number 2023-02?
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance number 2023-02.
Do you want
Do we have to,
read by title only or in its entirety?
by title only, please?
Okay.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Okay.
And that is repealing and replacing the previous ordinance number 2017-03.
03.
What this did is Commissioner Witham went through and cleaned the ordinance up. There was quite a few little spots in the old ordinance that were out of date. And so she just updated it with the state.
Right, because the ORS is through the state, had updated sizes of UTVs and different things like that. And then we also had a change on one of the roads that was the highway through Sumter that allows ATVs now. So
So,
just a few things here and there. It was just a cleaning up of the ordinance.
okay. So I second your motion.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Who wants to read the title?
So the ordinance
Is
title is in the matter of adopting an ordinance authorizing operation of all terrain vehicles on designated county roadways. Anybody wants to read it?
This ordinance shall be known as Baker County ATV ordinance. Ordinance number 2023-02, including the accompanying attachment A, which is incorporated by reference. The ordinance will take effect 90 days from the date of adoption or a later date, which will be March 5th, 2024. Motion carries. I will,
So we need to get with Billy and make sure that that's posted on, it's updated on the website, and Noodle needs to let Kelly know that it's done.
all right. Public hearing for ATV ordinance is now closed. All right, department updates. Water Master, I can't talk today. Water Master, Marcy Osborne.
Bring up another chair.
And company. We have to drag you guys out of the field every once in a while.
I'll start while Luke's doing that. I'm Marcy Osborne. I'm the water master for District 8, which is mostly Baker County. Some parts of Union County, and Grant County are also in my district. This is Luke Albert. He's the assistant water master. Luke Sells is another full-time assistant water master. And then we also have Jay Sly, who works primarily in Halfway, and he is just a seasonal, part-time assistant water master. We just do a quick overview. This is our district, mostly, like I said, Baker County, where we cover the area.
Small portion of Union.
So our total area is 3,254 square miles. Like I said, it's mostly Baker County, part of Union County is in there also that we regulate. For those of you that don't know yet, we have moved from the basement of the courthouse. We're now located on Pocahontas Road across from Oregon Trail Livestock Supply. So our job's to manage these water rights. We have 3,537 different primary water rights that we manage and distribute for. That includes surface water and groundwater, and then stored rights in reservoirs throughout the county also. Supplemental water rights tells you 569 and how many acres we service. And there's also surface water supplemental rights and groundwater supplemental rights. So we have 6,761 points of diversion, which is where the head gates are, where people take water from the main rivers and streams. The oldest priority date that we regulate back to is 1862, which is owned, well, technically not owned, but that's the city of Baker. They have the oldest surface water right in the county, so then it's 1862. So we have 42 different streams we regulate on. 20 of them, we're out there almost every day, regulating. The other ones are smaller stream systems that we only go out on when we get a call for a complaint or there's a disagreement between people. And some of those would be like Ebell Creek, Sutton Creek, some of the smaller streams around the county. We have several lakes that we release for distribution, and these are the ones, Rock Creek, Killimaque, Van Patten, and Pine Creek are all in the West Hills here of Baker. Up in the Eagles, we have Crater Lake, Eagle, Looking Glass, Echo, and Traverse. And those all go to the Richland Valley, or some of that goes to the Keating Valley also. And then out of the Halfway area, there's Pine Lakes, Clear Creek, East Lake, Fish Lake, Sugarloaf, Melhorn, and Bear Wallow that are all stored reservoirs that we release every year. And most of these are ones you have to hike into. I think Pine Creek here in Baker is the only one that you can actually like drive a 4-wheeler or UTV to. So. And then we also we're also in charge of inspections on these reservoirs and the dams to make sure they're safe. So we do have to go out and look at these every year. Most of them are every year that we distribute on. The other ones are 3 to 5 years we do an inspection on. So we're out in the field almost every day, all day long, off season. We work at installing gauging stations or measuring devices. The bottom right is a ramp flume that we helped a local rancher install this spring, actually. We also work on making maps for distribution and distribution lists to help us out for the next season. And then off season, these guys do snow survey with Jason Yinchpaul Go ahead, Luke.
We'll start that at the end of January. We'll do we hike in, snowshoe in Anthony, Little Alps and Little Anton, and then that's sent to NRCS and they run a snow water equivalent and update. Quick year in review. 2023 started off pretty well. We ended really well. Hard to tell in that right-hand slide. There's a couple feet that we gained. That's up on top of Anthony, just behind the reservoir is our snowfield, and it was pretty impressive this year.
So the left-hand pictures, that's from the NRCS. It gives you the snow water equivalency. And it'll also tell you a precip, throughout the year. And so we do look at this almost every day or weekly, if not just to kind of see where we're at currently in our area, but we can also see what's going on with the rest of the state. And that information comes from what these guys go do and measure the snow till. There's people all across the state that do the same thing to help get these numbers for NRCS to publish.
Today we're about 75%, but that's pretty typical. We usually get our snow packs on as the spring comes in January, February.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Some quick updates on where we ended in 22, which is how it started in 23. So we got a first call March 7th. Our irrigation season technically starts March 1st to October 31st in the Baker Valley. There's some different decrees which start in different areas. So March 7th was our first one. Marcy and I went out. It was fully covered in snow. He was just a junior user that was eager. So we sent him a picture and he kind of laughed like, I didn't think it was there. Just wanted to check. And then we had a great year. Jeff Colton and the district started off at 2% with Phillips, and it peaked at 73. It came off perfect, like the way they could store and fill and shut off. Today we're sitting at 33%, so we're doing okay. They have good holdover, and we're hoping for a good outcome.
Good.
Headed into it. Some quick reviews and highlights. On April 4th, the city flew myself and a couple of city employees in, and we shoveled out. No, it's not going to play. Okay. We shoveled out Goodrich Reservoir to check the levels on it. So that was kind of a fun experience.
You had videos.
Yeah, just a real quick video. There were some great cornices, the way the snowpack came, and those cornices help when they help with the late season and come off. The video on the right's Pine Creek high flows. It was really this year. I was more than once, had to make a few phone calls. I was nervous. They told me it'd be fine, but going the wrong way, Stephanie. Shoot. Nope, I got it. Okay.
So this year, because we did, the rain hit at the right time. These are pictures of the Burnt River Valley. They had quite a bit of flooding this year, like Luke talked about. Pine Creek was high. Rock Creek had pretty high flows this year. With the rain coming at the time that it did, it just flushed everything out really fast. So in the springtime, we dealt with a lot of flooding calls and flooding issues around, but that just kind of shows the bottom two are right after you get off the highway and turn back towards Bridgeport. That's looking down the valley there. And the next two are just a little bit farther down the valley. So this year actually turned out to be a pretty typical year. We did have some high flows and flooding early on. The creeks dropped off and we were pretty close to regulating, by year, couple weeks later than what we typically are, but it turned out to be a fairly typical normal year for us.
It's too bad we can't capture that when Burnt River
Yeah.
Valley
Yeah.
floods like that.
Yeah.
I know that the rancher said that they were using it, but at the same time, it'd be nice if we had another reservoir to capture that.
Because they were full and actually worried about
Right.
overtopping the dam there in Unity, and so that's why they had to release and
Yeah.
flood everybody down there.
Yeah,
But most people down there that I've talked to, they like it, just because it gets all the high spots, it floods,
Right.
and then they're, done for a while, and they don't have to irrigate, much for the first time around.
right, yeah. I went through with the road department and it was pretty impressive.
So that's kind of, nothing really major happened, this year, just kind of typical normal year.
It's nice.
All right.
It's nice to have water.
Yeah.
Yes.
One last thing I will mention is Jay Sly. He's our assistant in Halfway. He's been working with the county for, I don't know exactly, it's 45 plus years in that position. He's gonna be retiring at the end of next season. And so we're gonna be hiring a new person for that position. And we're going to, within my budget, I can hire a second person to go with him next year to kind of tag along and learn everything. And so we'll be hiring an assistant, temporary, part-time person, probably January, February, we'll start the process and get them in. So,
Hopefully. Smart.
Yeah.
He has all the knowledge.
45.
45 years.
That
should be fine.
Experience, yeah. It'll be a rough transition anyways, but that I think will help
Yeah, that's a
ease it,
smart way of doing
into
that.
it.
Yeah.
Good.
So. And any questions?
No,
Thank you so
you guys
much.
did a good job
Thank you.
with yours. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, we haven't had a PowerPoint for a while
I know.
from the updates.
Well, we just like to show a few pictures, at least it's
Yeah.
not just us.
Right.
doing
No,
that.
I like it when you do.
That's good.
So when you hire somebody next year for the halfway position, please get another Luke, so.
So we just have to
Keep it easy.
I know.
Easier to remember one name then, 'cause I only see these guys once a year. I might see them more than that, but don't know it.
Right.
We get a deal with printing the shirts.
Right?
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, next up, Jeffrey Pettingill, Weed Department.
Where'd your hat go?
Down there.
It is warm in here. I see you have a lot of supporters here too.
I do. I do. It's awesome.
Second PowerPoint.
I know.
Well, thank you, Court, for letting me come in and talk about the department and our issues. And I do have 4 and 2 halves of my weed board here.
Two halves.
We got Dave Clements, he represents the Richland area. Got John Willard, he's kind of in the northern Baker Valley. We got Bruce Hummel, he's in the North Powder. And then Chairman Craig Ward, who's kind of just outside of town and all that. Then we also have Morgan Solomon, who represents the LIT and that issues. And then Nolan actually sits on my board a little bit as well. Noodle does, for helping us with the road issues. So with that, I'm just going to kind of give you a year in review and where we're going to be heading in the future. This is a new sign you guys have seen on my truck. We've actually got funding to build 4 of these and spread them throughout the county. On the right of ways, it'll change a little bit to make more of an action thing as people drive through and say, you're in the Baker County weed area, control your dang weeds or something like that. So we're going to go that way. This is the current equipment that we have at our office that the county owns. We've got a 2008 F350. We've got the 2000 F450. That's our roadside truck, dually, big 500-gallon tank. I built a 300-gallon slide-in sprayer that we use for not only spraying right-of-ways as a backup for that, or if I'm out and about pulling an ATV, UTV, I can container my water and get around and be able to do stuff in the field instead of having to come back and get the roadside truck. We do have the older 4-wheeler, the 2014 Suzuki with a belt sprayer on it. And then we got the brand new 2022 Polaris ATV. This is the one that we got from a grant that has tracks. I take the tracks off in the summertime because the tracks just tear up too much country. We're out in pasture, range lands and all that. And then I custom built the sprayer. You'll see that in a minute. And I do have a 1993 Honda Foreman. I have 2 ATV trailers, a 28-foot pontoon boat. That was actually purchased on behalf of, with the help of Idle Power years ago from documentation I found. I do have a small 12-foot aluminum boat and then an IntelliSpray skid hand sprayer that we can just, slide in the back of the trucks and go that way. This is how I redesigned a lot of the trucks. This is the front boom. You'll see in a minute, we also have a truck that we've got from BLM. So I can mount this, take this system off the front of the truck, take the tank out, put it in the back of either truck, and I can use either truck that I see deemed necessary to go out and be able to treat weeds along the roadside. This is that 300-gallon skid that we got handguns on it. You can see I'm actually got a hose coming out of it to load the ATV. And yes, we were spraying on the snow about 3 to 4 weeks ago on the Hoyer Listen project out there. So that's pretty good. One of the things we have set up on our roadsides, we've done this for a number of years. We have a computer in the road, in the trucks that tracks exactly where we spray, where we turn on and off the sprayer. So in this case, this is just coming up Burnt River Road where that ditch crosses under. You can see where this was actually Marla, my seasonal worker, where she turned off ahead of time and turned it back on in the flow so that we can, this is not only helping, and I was talking to Noodle yesterday about how I can get this information into him in one of their computer programs. They don't run the ArcGIS or anything like we do, but they have a program, and working with Kelly, we think we'll be able to download this once a week, and then they can see it. And I really want to see what we can do to help the commission board to be able to pull up whether Stephanie might be able to answer this question. Do they have access to ARC online or anything like that?
They could.
They could.
Yeah.
We could set up a computer. You can go in there, and what it does, you share it as a group, and then you guys will click on that, and you can see at any given time what roads we've sprayed and not, because it'll leave this footprint. Obviously, I highlighted in bright orange green so you can see what it is. So, and then we spit that information out. This is the UTV that we received on grant monies, and you can see how that is obviously just water. 3 tanks on it. I can run different products, but I have a tank on the front for stability, for safety, and then I can turn right, left, booms off and get a 30-foot pattern. Both ATVs are set up with the same boom system. The other ATV just has one single tank in the back, and I don't like it. I'm too tall. I can't get on and off of it. So other equipment that we do have at my shop that we use part of the time, a 2000 cab over dually that actually belongs to the road department. Rod Tarter worked for me the first year I was here. He is still a licensed applicator for the road department. So he takes that in the spring. The road department started a new thing on the gravel roads where they'll go and they'll grade the roads, and then he'll spray behind it, trying to keep the puncture vine, Russian thistle, and some of these other weeds out. You've got to do it right behind the road grader because you got to get the moisture on it. And once you disturb the ground, you've just wasted $50 an acre, $100 a mile. So that we do have a 2020 3500 Dodge Crew Cab that we have from the BLM. We've got a 2014 UTV whisk sprayer that also belongs to the BLM that we use since we do all of their work. That also came with a tandem axle trailer, and we had a 150-gallon nurse tank that slides onto the flatbed. They also gave me an IntelliSpray skid. And just for your guys' information, the IntelliSpray is a very high-end handgun sprayer. It's got a 1/4-inch hose on it. And like if you've seen Phillips Reservoir, how that whole dam face is clean, we've been doing that for Baker Valley Irrigation for the last 2 years. They keep it clean. This last fall in early November, we went up and actually treated Unity Reservoir. Might show you a picture of that here. And so it's really nice because you can hike down the hill, push the button, and it'll pull you back up the hill. So it's a very slick. It's actually the same hose they used. If you've ever had a plumber come and snake out your drain with a high pressure, that very They actually use a little bit smaller hose than we use, so it's very heavy duty, very smooth, so it slides around rocks. They're worth the amount of money you pay for them. A lot easier on that. And I actually have them mounted. When I took the job over, there was 2 in the shop. I mounted them on both roadside trucks, so the applicator can go down the road if they can't reach a spot, especially on some of the corners and that where the right of way is further than the 20 feet. Then they'll get out handgun, spray that, try to touch it up. But we do that. And then I also have a forklift in my shop that we have over there. So this is the BLM sprayer. This is on top of Unity Reservoir with that IntelliSpray on it. The interesting part of this whole thing is I don't think this dam had been sprayed in 15 years. And by regulation with Bureau of Reclamation, it must be completely vegetation free because we're getting into the face of the dam. So Sean contacted me last year when he heard we were doing Baker Valley Irrigation, the Mason Dam. We helping them out. We charge them full rates, full employee time, everything. So, but it's a great opportunity to help out. So we do try to hire seasonal employees. They help out with spraying the right of ways right now. And then when they're not spraying, like Marla, the gal that worked from last fall, we actually brought her on in late July. Not a lot of spraying going on there. I did take her out for the last 3 weeks of spraying, and to train her, and then she goes out and starts mapping weeds on all the other grants and projects that we have, and even try to send her out to some of the gravel pits. We get a good idea of what weeds are on county properties and all that kind of thing. She does work for the BLM, and then we bill back her time, my time, anything like that when we're working with any of these other entities outside of the county taxpayers. And then we actually do a lot of our own minor mechanical duties as well. So this is an idea of what Marla did. And so this is using Onyx, the mapping software. We also have one from Esri, the ArcMap, the higher end that has the full data package. So every little balloon there that you see is where she stopped and just made a mark of where she saw the weeds. And in the code that she wrote is in there. So you can see a very large area and then substantial hiking, getting around, trying to find out where is this Horiolisum plant that we're trying to stop from spreading around. So in a biocontrol program, we do this quite often. We release insects to control specific weeds. These insects were brought in the country from the native country. It takes 10 years or more for these insects to be allowed through APHIS, another federal agency, Animal Plant Health Inspection Service. They monitor all that. There's a global consortium that helps everybody out. So we go to the native country, in this case, where spotted knapweed was, the Mediterranean area. The scientists bring them over, get them approved. These insects right here, I believe, come out of Montana. So the Department of Ag has a biocontrol specialist. They'll go out and collect them with a sweep net. As an adult, you can see I cropped a picture in there. We get them shipped in little, almost looks like butter dishes. You can see it in my left hand. I'm actually wading across Pine Creek right here, halfway between Halfway and Oxbow, to release them on the opposite side, down by the river. I had one of my board members, Shella Del Curto, wanted me to release them up North Pine Creek because there's spotted knapweed all over in there. Believe it or not, there's not enough spotted knapweed. You've got to have at least a solid quarter acre of weeds to get the insects to establish and to set their feet. And up there, there's plenty of spotted knapweed, but they're all 10, 15 feet apart throughout that entire bottom. And a lot of that eroded out and everything a few years ago, so it's highly disturbed. So we do a lot of that. You guys are very familiar. We have our loaner equipment program. We have one of my ATV trailers I've converted into dropping one of our loaner equipment on there. They have the capability of spraying 2 20-foot swaths, so a total of 40 feet plus handguns. The UTV sprayer in the bottom seems to be the most popular one that goes out, especially for the ranchers. Usually what happens is they'll rent these or take these on loan, and the next conversation is, where can I get one of those? So it's a winning battle when we're looking at it that way. But you can see how this is set up. That little arm coming out the left-hand side is 2 20-foot nozzles or 15-foot nozzles so that they can go that way in where we're headed for everything else. So education outreach, we have one of our grants is Medical Springs. We sponsored a spray day. I hauled our trailer up there. I also had a pickup load full of herbicides, ATV, the UTV, in case somebody wanted to show up. We had John Jeffries, one of our local contract applicators, show up. And after the town meeting, we had 3 days prior, we told people, come, if you got weeds, we'll send a guy to spray it, rent equipment, we'll give you a herbicide to go out through the grant, obviously, and, or county cost share. And you go out, spray your own weeds, bring the sprayer back, and then we'll loan it to the next guy in line. So it was a great way to actually introduce and involve the whole community, because weed control is no better than what your community does. Okay, give you a little update on what we did for Baker Roads. Obviously, not enough, just because of not being able to find the best of people that could pass tests and all that. But we did spray 256 miles of road post-emerge. So this would be everything from outside the gravel line to the fence line, which is about 182 acres. And then this fall with pre-emergent, we got all the roads done. So this is on the asphalted roads, everything from the edge of the asphalt over about 5-6 feet. So we keep that clean for maintenance reasons and everything, which was about 335 miles, equates to about 243 acres that we treated. So county is pretty much a major landowner if you consider all that into the place. Okay. We've already talked about that. We do a lot of contract work for other government agencies. For the cities this year, we sprayed for the city of Huntington, Richland, and Sumter. Last year, we also did Haines, Halfway. And I tell these people, I am here to help you out. I am not your weed manager. I will help you where you want. So if you want us to come spray your streets next year, your right of ways, call me. If you want to hire somebody else, please do. That's what we want to do, is try to build that up. This year, I got hit up by the city of Baker to do their cemetery and their parks, because the people maintaining that are actually contracted to the city and don't carry a license. They did have a local contractor that did that work, but he says, I'm not doing it anymore because I can make a lot more money out spraying alfalfa and larger areas and not nickel and dime the 18 parts that they had. So we helped out the city and all that. And then I also got involved with the city of Haines, because if you guys been out to the Haines cemetery,
Yeah,
all the dead trees,
on north side.
north side, they have 40 to 50-year-old arborvitaes and spruce trees that all died. And the Department of Ag called me, and not to accuse me. And the first thing I said, I haven't sprayed out there. But because the guy knows that I have a history in horticulture and all that, asked what it was. But they said, the trees are dead. I think somebody went around there and sprinkled sterilant underneath every base of the tree, trying to keep the weeds away. And it takes 4 or 5 years for it to kill the tree. And now they've got the LDS Church and other people are going to come out and tear out all those beautiful at one time trees. So, but anyway, so with that being said, I treated the Haines Cemetery, and that same group is in charge of the Rock Creek Cemetery. So trying to help these guys out with thistles and every other kind of thing that they have in their area. I already talked a little bit about this. Baker Valley Irrigation, one of our big projects is to, hike up and down about 7 miles of hiking when I'm done treating this dam with the help of an assistant that we're doing in there. And this is what the Unity Dam looked like. We got rabbit brush that's 4 and 5 foot tall, and it takes 15 years for that to get that big. So we added some extra herbicides trying to help them out as well in the community. One of our big agreements we have, obviously, is the BLM. So kind of fun to go up there and treat the Interp Center. You can see the wagons right here in the area. We do all the roadways up in there, and actually their maintenance building as you get into there. Treat all that. It was a wreck a couple of years ago, and Ted and John with the BLM approached me and says, can you spray that? Sure. So we go up there with the UTV and so we can just control a little 2-foot swath. Our trucks will not do anything less than 5 feet. So I just take a handgun, drive, and then sprayer. When I have an assistant, they set out the passenger side, but I can really watch it on this side. So it works out pretty good. And of course, we do the right of ways as well for the BLM on all the backcountry roads, gravel roads. This happens to be a corner, excuse me, where there was just a plethora of Scotch thistles. So I've actually drug the hose off of that truck all the way to where I'm standing and sprayed all this that's taller than Commissioner Nichols. that we do find some new invaders. This was a very interesting plant. I was up releasing the biocontrols up in Halfway and saw this, which tells me, what is that? Why is it so large? And originally I thought it was dodder that you see in alfalfa. Come to find out, it's actually wild cucumber, which is a native plant to the United States and has naturalized itself on the western side of the United States because it's native to the eastern United States. And it's an annual, so it grows that big in 1 year. And it's all over Halfway. So but working with my board members in that area, Shella and Marty, we're going to start a little campaign. If people want some help, we can.
Do you get cucumbers off of it?
No, I don't know if I have a picture. I don't. It actually gets a pod about this big around, about the size of a golf ball, with probably 300 spines on it.
Is it like the wild clematis? Does it look like that?
Almost, other than the clematis gets a little puffball on it.
Yeah, it doesn't get that.
But it doesn't get that. No, this is, and then the clematis leaves a woody stem behind because it's a
Yeah.
perennial. This is an annual, so it grows absolutely
Mhm.
from a seed to 15. And I took a bunch of pictures, actually a ditch bank this rancher has that probably flows about 60 feet, 60, 70 feet down his ditch bank. And I just walked over there, do what I do best, trespass.
Mhm.
People come talk to me. So I got out, started walking, and then I walked back up because I was really curious what it was. Get back to my truck, grabbing a shovel because I noticed there was someone on the side of the road. All of a sudden, the lady comes driving out of the driveway. I'm like, uh-oh, here comes the conversation. Here comes my job interview, right? She goes, do you know what that plant is? We've been trying to kill that. So it's a great way to meet people.
And how did it get here? Do you think?
It was actually probably brought over as a ornamental.
Oh, as an ornamental.
Somebody from the Western United States bootlegged it over here. So this is beautiful, grows up, gets this wonderful flower on it, and it flowers clear through the summer. And then they realize that it starts getting over the top of their trees. Behind the house to the right, there's about 6 apple trees that are not producing apples because it's totally covering.
Oh,
The kids like throwing the pods like forest chestnuts.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Here, dodge this one and watch it hurt when it hits you. So with our grants, we've got our Haynes Hortulism, which started out, phase 2 was about $9,900 first 2 years. Last year, it was $25,000. And I will be putting in, just to bring you guys up to date, I'm going to be working with Tri-County to submit phase 4 here pretty quick. And I know we've got this new policy we're trying to work through, but I wanted to bring that up, and if you guys want to approve it or whatever, but it's just the next step phase of this project. We actually brought a helicopter in this year to treat some bigger fields. So what we thought was 2 or 3 acres 3 years ago was turned into 400 or 500 acres. So pretty bad. We have our Keating Powder River Restoration Project. Originally, there were 6 landowners that we had involved on both sides of the Powder River, but for the most part, the guys on the west side, the river really don't have a problem. And that was part of this, is trying to identify what the problem is. So mostly we're working with a couple landowners up there close to Teeth Valley Reservoir and down in that way, dealing with not only invasive annual grasses, but broadleaves. We have our Medical Springs project, talked about that. That's a lot of white top and thistles. We have our Lookout Mountain restoration, which starts at the top of Lookout Mountain, ends up in Lime. There's 6, 7 landowners were involved in there as well. We got into, we did some treatments fall of 2022, and we're monitoring that. And then we applied for Lawrence Sardine phase 2, which is one that my predecessor had started out with. I continued it, modified it for phase 2, but you can see the numbers we're working with in there. Already talked about this. We did some pretty big projects of treatments this fall. We did our Haynes Hortulism with the Oregon Department of Ag with ATVs and UTVs right around the last snowstorm we had. But we were trying to put a herbicide in the ground for residual, because this is a mustard plant that germinates early in the spring. And with the use of the herbicide we had, we can put that layer. And that's why spraying over a little bit of snow does not affect anything, because it gets in the snow, melts into the ground, mission accomplished. Normally you wouldn't spray over like that kind of stuff. And then we treated about 1,800 acres of invasive annual grasses, the cheatgrass, Medusa head, about 1,000 acres of private property, 800 acres of BLM. Well, we had the helicopter here. So it worked out very, very well. We did, a big part of my job is outreach and education. I did a presentation at the Idaho Noxious Weed Conference in Boise. They always like to know what's going on in Oregon. This happened to be a calibration and teaching people how to spray. We met with the county weed soups in Union County. we set up a meeting in Meridian with Union Pacific Railroad, and we actually had people from 3 states to come learn how can we do business with the railroad, because everybody thinks Union Pacific's difficult to work with. Fact of the matter is, you just got to follow their gig. We can get $10,000 from them if I send an email to the boss tomorrow, and we can just go have contractors go out and spray. Send them a bill, work covered. Just, you got to follow their rules. We did our Northeast Oregon contractors meeting. I actually went to the Firewise program and halfway, did a week presentation there, forestry management with OSU. I did this in conjunction with Tri-County and the Forest Service, and I actually set a booth outside for people that wanted to come talk about weeds. I had a great opportunity with BTI, with their natural resources classroom, taught them a little bit about weeds, but we went out and mapped with using the Onyx on my tablets, taught the students all of that. So it was a great opportunity. About a month ago, I got invited to go speak at and help the FFA convention, do their weed ID test. And then the Oregon Ag Chemical Association contacted me through Will Lackey, ODOT, to do his presentation in Pendleton. And that was actually interesting. I figured it'd be a bunch of fieldmen, but like the sewer people here from Baker County, where they're getting credits. So I'm going to start putting on some meetings just for people chasing credits. And I think we can build a contractor base that way.
When Will was coming around.
No, I'll just do it myself. I've talked to Will about it. He can come and talk about roadside maintenance. And I try to tell everybody, keep in mind, even if you're a farmer, grower, rancher, that if he's talking bare ground along roadsides, you can take that same idea and put it around your grain bins, your equipment yards, your fence lines. It's just a piece of different geography. Most of the applications and how you go about spraying it are the same.
Different tests, separate tests.
Oh,
separate
for the
license?
testing,
Is it all
landowners
the same
don't have
for
to
the-
get the license
Right,
at all. The private landowners, if we can do it for people that have credits
right.
and get like the guys, there's a few people around here that are landscapers,
Mhm.
but they have a license, so they can do some incidental spraying. But if we can build them and educate them on pasture range, maybe they want to grow their business,
Mhm.
then they do have to get a different license instead of getting the horticulture, what they call the weed for horticulture.
Yeah.
You have to get the weed for agriculture or ag license. So it's a totally different licensing system, but the ideas are the same. Just for your information, the biggest difference between taking those 2 tests is when you're doing lawn care, it's all in how much you put down per 1,000 square feet.
Mhm.
When you're doing agriculture, it's all per acre.
Per acre.
So you can divide it by 43.5 and the numbers, they work out. Anyway, so we had a very successful herbicide giveaway program. We changed it. I still publicly called it a giveaway program, but on the paperwork, it's a custom blend. When we went through that whole thing of the loaner equipment and the individual turned us into the Department of Ag for violating the pesticide rules, after the inspector, Matt Dallas, I sent it to him and said, hey, you and I talked about this a year ago. I'm still good. He sent it all the way up the chain with Oregon Department of Ag. ODA really didn't have an issue with this. It's the EPA.
Oh,
So technically they have to request what I'm going to blend them.
okay.
So I've rewritten the page and it's called a custom blend and I write down what they requested. But it meets the criteria for doing that. But as far as the community knows, it's a giveaway program and it's very successful. We had just shy of 100 people in the different communities. As you guys may know, in Baker City, I do it every other week, the first and third Wednesdays. In all the other small communities, I'm there once a month, and it's a great opportunity to educate people. And one of the better parts of that whole thing was that with that, about a third to a quarter of all those people ended up getting involved in our cost share program. They have 200 acres of land out there, and they're coming getting 5 gallons of free herbicide. Why don't you take a whole container? I'll teach you how to go spray and go treat larger acres with that. So it works out very, very well. So where are we heading in 2024? We're gonna, you guys will hear about this a little bit. We're gonna increase our levy funds and request general funding high. All of this is to go towards hiring a full-time assistant. We are gonna increase the number of miles of the right-of-way we treated, especially the BLM. We put in for an opportunity to help the Forest Service with their roadsides as well. We're gonna get into treating the Union Pacific, as I mentioned a little while ago. We're gonna upgrade our county weed control program in Huntington and Richland. We really need to start it in like March instead of the May like we have been, because those communities are in those little sun belts. And then probably dump our August and September. People are getting herbicide, but it's the wrong time of year. And then upgrade a sign at Unity Reservoir. There is a kiosk at Unity Reservoir that talks nothing but weeds. And I got a phone call from that manager there this year, and nobody even knows that it was there.
Mm.
Soil Conservation Service's name's on it, but even the Soil Conservation Service doesn't. So we're gonna work with them and try to build
Another.
and yeah, it's right where you park and start getting your boat ready and everything like that. And then we're in the process of working with facilities to upgrade our building to meet ADA compliance and all that kind of stuff. So with that, there's my department
Thank you.
update for
Alright.
this year.
Thank you.
Any questions?
That was quite the update. Busy.
Um,
I think you
yeah,
can
you
stay
might
I
there.
do, I just.
stay there. Unless
Okay.
you want to stretch while Bruce is.
I think we can, we're behind, so
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
So
Running
thank
pretty
you,
good.
Jeffrey.
Mhm.
All right, I will now open contract review board. Next up, notice of measure election SEL 801 for four-year local option tax for noxious weed control. So I guess as you just started into, take it away.
Okay, so as you guys know, the majority of my giveaway program, part of my wages, not, and existing in the world for weed control for the county is funded through a levy, a local option levy. So we as a board had quite the deliberation of how we want to go about doing that. Obviously, we want to have it go up to the body of public to vote for it again. There was some discussion on how, do we want to change it? Right now, it is just a local option tax. It's not a, I can't remember the term. Christina, what is it? Where that's on a percentage? The
It's a rate.
rate.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
The
the
rate.
rates. So with that being said, we decided, my board decided, let's not go for the rate. Let's just keep it a flat levy. So for the last, I don't know how many years, it's been right around that $100,000, which generates the weed department about $96,000. But we, and the board voted unanimously to raise that to $130,000.
Okay.
And you can see the figures in there that was written up to me from our assessor's office, that it would go to 0.066 cents per thousand of property value up until we reach that 130,000, and no more, no less.
Right.
What
Right.
I'm asking is that the commission board supports this and approves it so that it can actually go on the ballot.
And the rate could possibly fluctuate, and that's why they decided not to go with the rate, because if the
Okay.
property values go down, then that would go down, he could lose.
Oh,
You know,
sure.
there would be an advantage
Okay.
of it going up. And then there was also discussion about if we get more than 100,000, but we won't get more than 130,000 on the new one,
Right.
and you don't get less. It's just, well, as long as people pay their taxes. But just so that that's clarified, because that was a big discussion during that meeting about what do you do with the extra? We don't get extra. So it's all figured out by that assessor's office. Bruce, do you need to be brought up to speed? This is for the weed levy. Have
No.
you read through that?
No, I
Okay.
heard about it.
What will it cost the county to put it on the ballot?
Well, we have to. It ends in, it's
Oh,
either
it's going
It's
out.
gonna do it anyway.
in May.
Okay.
I guess you don't have to do it.
Okay,
You
we
could
don't
say
have
no
to.
as a commission, but I hope you wouldn't.
And
No, I'm not going to say no.
Good, thank you.
and
Thank you.
in doing that, it's going to go away.
Okay.
And he could go for 100,000 again, or ask for this 130,000, and it hasn't been raised for how long?
I don't know what that,
You don't
It's
know.
Quite a long time.
long time.
Which is it takes it from
It was
0.057 to 0.066.
And this is county-wide.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's all the
Countywide.
taxpayers in the county.
So my question would be, did you ask how much, Carrie, how much that might generate then?
Yes.
Because of the compression and stuff like that?
Did you ask Carrie how much it's gonna
The
generate?
hundred and thirty thousand
and then
levy will not generate 130,000.
Right,
like
right. No, I didn't.
generate
I just worked on the percentages, Commissioner,
Okay,
that we were getting, we were getting 96,000 out of 100,000. So if we ask for 130,000, most likely we're probably gonna get around that 125, 127.
okay, so you
Kind of
did,
playing the odds.
You had a ballpark estimate.
Yeah,
there.
yep,
I
yep.
would have talked to Carrie first, but.
And I did, oh, you would have.
Right,
Yeah.
that's okay.
And I got all these figures and everything in here taken care of. So,
Oh, you did, okay.
Yeah.
good,
yep, everything that's written into here was under the guidance.
Okay,
And I talked to Carrie
you did.
about it
Good.
when it all first came about. with
And
the
if it's unanimous,
the
I'm
board.
assuming the weed board thinks it'll pass.
The weed
so-
board did approve and asked for the 130,000.
And when this hits the paper, we need to play it up also with people that ask us and stuff.
And also it was
Yes,
brought
we
up,
can.
I don't know if you want to
Once.
speak to the PAC that was brought up.
Well, I don't know if
and
any of my
the-
board members wants to get up and
If-
talk about it.
if you wanna talk about the PAC
It's your
and-
leisure, Commissioner.
The board has a plan, don't you? Are you gonna move forward on the plan to have a PAC that puts out the information and kind of pushes for the levy to be passed? I know you talked about it at that meeting.
So,
October.
the board discussed that issue, but hasn't made a resolution and hasn't identified a volunteer to.
Okay.
Head that up,
So that'll be coming up
Yeah, in our February.
in the February, okay.
And Heidi, when we set this on the ballot, the commissioners have to stay out of it, right? Because
Yeah.
we can't campaign or advocate for
Right,
any measure
Yeah.
that's on the ballot.
Yeah, there's some,
So-
I know there's laws that restrict what we can do, at
Yeah.
least during work time.
Right.
Work time, yeah.
Yeah, work time, but,
As an
outside,
individual, if somebody asks you about the weed levy or something, I'm gonna tell them that I support it and they should too. And that should not be an ethics violation at all.
no.
Now,
I
if we
think
do it
there's
here,
just
that's a
restrictions
different
during
matter.
work time,
right. Right.
So,
So do we, and so we have to approve this going
Put it
forward?
on the ballot.
yeah, it would be good to, just a motion to approve it.
Excuse me.
Is that a motion?
No.
Emotion.
Yeah. Okay, I'll go ahead and make a motion to I guess move forward with the notice of measure election SEL 801 for 4-year local tax option tax for noxious weed control for the amount of 130,000.
I'll second the motion.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Anyone online? All right, seeing none. All in favor, say aye.
I
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
thank you,
You're on the
Jeffrey.
ballot and see what happens.
Yep. up to
Nothing
the voters
ventured,
now.
nothing gained, right?
That's true, especially in this case. All right, District Attorney, St. Alphonsus Child Abuse Center contract.
Same contract as last 2 years. St. Alphonsus has donated this part of this wing of the building and
Yeah.
we are using it a lot. So I think the only things that have really changed are the years on there. So
Well, I'm
2-year
sorry to hear
contract.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that we're
that.
using
Using
a
it a
lot.
lot.
So yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Right.
So
I've read through the contract and it didn't look like anything had changed in the language, so just an extension,
yes.
okay?
Yes.
Any discussion from us?
Not from me.
All right.
So I'll make a motion that we approve I guess it's the First Amendment, huh? First Amendment to licensor space license agreement. Do we need to read it? I don't think so, do we?
I wouldn't think so, no.
No.
Okay,
That's your motion?
That's my motion, that
Okay,
we approve it.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Anybody online? Okay, seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion
All right,
carries.
thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks for standing there so long, Greg.
Yeah. Hey, thank you guys for coming in.
Thank you.
You see Morgan, tell her thanks. Vic.
Poor Megan's over there, she's yawning.
Oh, well, yeah, and I know why.
So the school-based health center mental health contract, is just a continuation. The only difference is there's a slight increase in the payment because we got additional funds, through the grant. So since they are doing, the work, we thought that we could give them a little bit more. So I think it used to be 4,000 and now it's like $4,125 or
Yeah.
something. So that's the only change, is that, and then the years. So we contract with them every 2 years.
4,250?
200. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
I-
That's how.
So it was 4,000 and now it's 4,250. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. So that's the only change, with that piece for that.
All right.
I'll make a motion to approve the health department, school-based health center, mental health contract with New Directions Northwest.
I'll second the motion.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Anybody online? Okay, seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, motion carries.
And then the second one is, so we received funding. Part of the funding is to help with public health communications. And so there are 4 other counties in Eastern Oregon that have also indicated a need to have a communications position. So instead of all of us trying to hire someone, we thought it would be beneficial to come together to put some of our funding towards hiring a communications position. And so we are part of the Coalition of Local Health Officials. And so they would be hiring a communications
Okay,
individual. And so the sole source order is for that piece to hire a rural communications coordinator.
and that would be
Right.
shared.
Yes, so
Okay.
they would be shared 5 ways, but we feel that it would be most beneficial for all of the counties to just come together to have this position for multiple reasons, but one being then if there is information that can be shared throughout all of the counties, we're not all having to redo stuff. So part of that time, I think, would be, they might have, whether that's a radio ad or a flyer that they are putting together, and it wouldn't have to change that much county to county.
Yeah.
And so we feel like it would be beneficial with their time. So even though it's split between 5 counties, we think that they're going to be able to.
So you could record a radio spot and then
Mhm.
share that to the 5 counties and.
I mean, depending on what, each county may want, what they might be working
Okay.
on. But the Coalition of Local Health Officials, Baker County has been part of that coalition since its inception. So they are well aware of just rural communications, the variations, and how you may want to present information county to county. And so we thought it would be of best interest for them to have this position under them.
Okay.
So I don't have the actual thing in front of me, so I don't know all the language, but did you all have any questions about particular pieces of that?
That was the main question I had.
Mhm.
So.
Yeah.
Megan, are we
Yes.
just approving the order? I see there's an.
Yes, so-
attached
I did the contract.
for the, yes.
Yes, so I did add the contract draft. So it would, I didn't know if you all had questions about that. So we would be paying them just like a lump sum. So then that way they have that funding to pay the individual. But otherwise, they're in charge of most everything else. We're just basically giving them the funds to support that position. And then it happens every biennium. We would update the contract because that is when our funding ends, is every biennium. But we anticipate funding to continue for future years. And if it doesn't, then we may not be able to have the position. So
Okay,
it's just funding dependent. But
I did read
I
that.
don't think we need Kim to look at it or anything. It's-
I think Kim has been looking at.
yes,
Oh,
yeah,
she
Kim
has.
Kim has looked at the contract. She looked at the ordinance. We have a copy of their liability insurance. That was one thing that she just wanted to have before we sign that. So
Okay.
yes.
So are we signing not signing this today then?
So, I mean, I guess for me, I don't know if you all prefer to sign the contract or I can sign it upon your approval of the position. I don't know what would,
We could vote today to authorize Megan to sign it if we're happy with it. Or we can,
So how much is it gonna be?
so because we're starting halfway through the year, it's a little bit less this year. But I think it is 24,000.
It shows
I
here,
can't, okay, yes, it's in the contract.
salary 70,000 to 80,000 per year.
And that's
And
split
then that's split
between.
between 5.
Mhm. And then there's just some additional, like that 4,000 or so is to help the coalition with administrative. So like that 10%.
Okay.
is
Kind of.
that coming out of,
It's coming out of modernization funding.
that's what I thought.
Mhm.
So it's gonna be more than the 80,000, because you're gonna have health insurance and dental and life and the 401k and all that other stuff too, right?
Well, it says that those are the benefits and then,
Benefits, and then the salary of
Okay,
70 to 80. But since there's 5 counties, are you all, is it equal or?
Yes. Yep. We're all dividing. And then if it's, if one county ends up backing out before the end of the contract, then the coalition indicated that they would make sure that they can cover the funding. So that way we wouldn't have to provide any additional funds. So whatever is in the contract, that amount, because there were 2 different payments that we have to pay, that is just what we are going to pay for those 2 years. And if for some reason another county backs out, then they would cover those costs.
So a county can back out if they want to.
I mean, potentially, but I think everybody is extremely supportive of the 5 counties that are involved in this really want the position. So I don't anticipate anybody backing out for any reason.
so we would be signing the order number 2023-153, but not the professional services agreement.
Yes, that's
Okay. Just to clarify.
Can I ask then,
Mhm.
when do you need to have the contract signed?
they're going through an interview process right now and anticipating hiring someone in the beginning of the new year. So
So would it
sooner,
be-
but rather than later, but
Because I noticed in the draft, it looks like we're still trying to figure out the dollar amounts and stuff. 'cause
Oh.
the,
have that somewhere,
You
sorry.
do have it.
I can give you the updated amount. I'm sorry. I thought I put that one in there.
Oh,
but-
it's okay. I was just thinking it might be better if we could just have the commissioner sign it, since it's over that 5,000.
Okay,
Okay,
If you have time, and it sounds like you do, so it might be better to do that,
okay.
so go ahead and bring it back.
if that's all right. Or we can just, if you guys have looked at it and you're good with it, and you just need to plug in the numbers or whatever, you can approve it and then just sign out of session. So,
But it sounds like you have enough time that you could come back with the final, not draft.
Yes, I mean, if we could do it at the next commission session, I can, I have everything.
Okay.
So like
I
on
just
the
don't think
20th.
On the 20th.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you, yeah, I'm good.
Do we need to do the order number now today? Since that's ready, so I don't see why not.
Okay.
I'd agree.
Okay. Want me to?
Who's gonna get the
I'll
motion?
make a motion to
Okay.
approve the sole source order number 2023-153 Coalition of Local Health Officials.
Second motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
I don't have anybody here from Unity Water,
I thought Mark.
just
or
Heidi.
Just
Okay.
Heidi.
Okay.
She went and looked it up.
Okay, so we have clarification on that.
Unity Water Tower.
Thank you, Megan.
Hey, thank you.
So the Unity Water Tower, the county received a grant for $500,000 to update the Unity Water Tower, improve the water system there. We went out, tried to find a contractor, ended up with Realm Inc. They've completed the work, but in the course of their work, there were some additional upgrades that needed to be done to the valves. And so this is an invoice for that. It was just outside of the scope of their contract. And so we just needed to bring it back to the commissioners for you guys to do that. We are within budget. There's still about $25,000 left of that grant money.
Okay.
That will be used towards like fencing and some just cleanup around that area. So anyways, so with this, there is money in the leftover of that grant to pay this.
Okay.
Okay.
Did you have any other?
No, that was
your
I was
concern.
concerned whether the grant was just 470 or what, I couldn't remember whether it was 500 or what it was. So and Heidi checked out the numbers for me and everything, and so we're good.
Okay.
So, yeah, we're within budget and we're not going to go over the grant, so it isn't our money anyway. So
Mhm.
What
we're good
so
to
what
go.
are we approving?
We're approving the
approving
This
8,000.
invoice.
Okay, so, and my signature, or is it already came across?
Yeah.
Yeah, it somehow got signed and sent back, but we
Yeah.
just need to have it approved in session. So.
So I'll make a motion that we approve the invoice from Realm Incorporated for valve work on the, as part of the City of Unity Water Tower Repair Project for $8,006.07.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Saying none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Bleachers.
Fair Board bleacher purchase.
We're almost there, Ryan. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I are well.
Good, good, good.
And you?
I'm hanging in.
So you have a staff report. This is a little foreign for me, so essentially, we are looking at going out using KCDA purchasing co-op to purchase these bleachers. The process has been going on for 2 years for these bleachers. It's one of the identified necessities at the fairgrounds, at the rodeo grounds, in as much as the old Green Monster holds 800 seats, and whatever other events have to rent seating, and that's becoming more and more difficult to rent bleachers.
Sure.
So with the money that has been sponsored by state feds during the COVID years, we earmarked some dollars to deal with the bleachers. We went full circle on this. We had movable bleachers designed. We measured everything at the Bull and Bronc, measured exactly where the fences were, exactly where the seats were, and had that as a template. But the Bull and Bronx is a squeezed in arena, and it's not wide enough for timed events and roping events, barrel races and the like. It's down to like 137 feet long versus 250 feet for the other events. So we're trying to find bleachers, a setup that would work for both of them. And we came upon a fixed bleacher amphitheater type setup. Everyone thought that was great, but the initial price tag estimate was over $1.5 million. So that's not going to work for what we're doing. So now we're back to looking at movable bleachers to be set up for the different events. And one thing about everything being movable, it becomes equipment, not a fixed asset. Yeah, it's not a capital improvement project. It's an equipment purchase. So that's how we got to the KCDA, is go through the co-op. And I stopped in and had a conversation with both Christina Cook and with
Dan.
Mhm.
Yeah, Dan was very helpful.
Yeah.
He knew about the KCDA. So that's where we are. We're trying to get you guys to say, yep, go do it. We'll go through that process, bring it back to you guys, can sign it, and away we go.
Is this the same bleacher layout that was brought to us last session?
Mhm.
No,
That
It isn't?
it's not that
I
they
don't
were
know
gonna.
what you looked at last time.
Well, they felt that we had to approve the bleacher arrangement.
And we said, no, we didn't.
Yeah, I don't think you need to play
No,
the
we didn't.
arrangement because
No.
the arrangement's been in a state of flux.
Right.
Right.
Well, in a situation like this, if you wanted to use a length of them for a band at the fair.
Yeah, the situation is that 3,000 seats is a once a year thing.
Yeah.
The rest of the time, if they're timed events, they might need 1,000 seats, you know, half as much at the most. But the arrangement, the configuration of the arena at that point is that most of the people would want to sit near the takeoff chutes
Mhm.
and want to be down near the stripping chutes.
Right.
So on either end, no one really wants to sit in the big green monster in the middle
Mhm.
because they can't chirp at the people.
That is what they showed us. They showed us the stripping and
Yeah.
the other shoot and
Yeah,
How-
so it has an option of moving. Plus, they can be moved for events out in the Leo Adler Field
Right.
or whatever else. So
Right.
it's just a better deal. So we went full circle on that, and this is where we landed. We've had several meetings with cowboys and cowgirls, and they've given us an earful about a lot of things. They're all fine. They're all fine about this. We're moving. We're kind of taking what they said into heart.
I like,
Are looking at doing different things too. So
I like having movable equipment too, so.
I did read through all.
I had a conversation with Dan and he said that, you know, as long as you guys, it's kind of a tricky process to follow their
I'll deal.
rules, but it's not. He can help you through, but it's similar to how Noodle purchases equipment.
Do you do it through KCD?
We use a similar buying power.
Similar.
It's not the same as Sourcewell.
Okay.
So.
I'm okay with
As far as I could tell, you know, the fair and being a kind of a subsidiary of the county, I don't see a problem.
No.
They use. Not worth finding.
Yeah.
Well, not everybody jump all at once.
So I'll make a motion that we approve. Do we have to talk about sole source?
This is part of that,
Okay, so
so,
we're already approved for it anyway, right?
yes,
Okay.
so are you asking for approval
It's a blessing. I'm asking for him to go,
And then you'll come back
yes.
with the actual purchase then?
It's
Yeah.
because of,
Yeah.
it's because of this is exemption 4 in the bind that said this is the right route. We're saying, yep, you're going the right way. Go ahead and do it.
Okay, yep. I just
And I'll
wanna
bring
make
it
sure
back.
they're clear on what the motion needs to be. So,
Right, approval of exemption.
Yeah.
So I make a motion that we give him our blessing. That's what he asked for.
You want the approval of exemption to use KCB?
Number 4, yeah.
Okay,
Number
you're gonna
Yeah.
name that in your motion?
Yes, for Baker County Fair.
Okay.
bleachers.
I'll second.
All right.
That's pretty general.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, seeing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you. You've been blessed for the day.
Lucky you.
Yeah.
We'll see you back.
Your jacket, your,
Oh, yes.
your vest.
We'll see you back in a few weeks.
It's our next runner up.
Vehicle purchase approval. Road department, probably. If they don't come back asking for a tractor, I'll be surprised.
So we're looking to buy a new
There's
fifth wheel truck.
conspiracy going on here.
I know.
We're looking to buy a new fifth wheel truck to move some bleachers through the. No, this truck would be an asset to us. So we currently have 5. And just like 3 weeks ago, we had trucks hauling rock and Unity and 2 little boys at the truck, at the shop, and a grader and Sumter needed to get there. No truck took to the trailer. So,
Mm,
That makes it difficult.
yeah,
I saw you guys had a greenhorn trucks going everywhere too.
yeah. we use them a
Dusted
lot.
Donnie and I out on the road trying to get out of there. I know. We just had to stop for a minute. So you're going for Glenn's Excavating and Trucking 2005 Kenworth T800 for 45,000.
Yes.
And I asked Noodle earlier, you don't get the log bunks. You guys don't get to go into the logging,
I mean, if we wanted to pay more, we could have them, but
but you got to deal
I
with
got a deal.
accepting the log bunks.
You're familiar with that equipment, aren't you? You ever weld on any of those? A lot? Yeah. What is the 2003? They're kind of proud of that, aren't they?
Yeah, these trucks are actually quite popular these days.
Why, it's because of
So
them
they're-
chrome wheels.
Yeah.
This is $20,000 more than the newer one.
And it's a lot further away.
Yeah, I figured you fellas wanted to go to, where's this, North Dakota? You have to pick this thing up or
Yes, we will.
Cool.
the yellow? Where's this one at? The one you want?
Washington.
Yeah,
Colorado.
it's in Colville. It's actually sitting in Spokane currently.
Oh, yeah.
So I read through it. I don't have any
It looks like a good rig.
questions. They clarified about the trailer and the bunks and things like that. You got a bit of price on not taking that.
We'll build up Spokane,
Yeah, north
Yep.
of Spokane.
so you can back and forth with me.
Yep. I'll make a motion to accept the vehicle, the truck purchase. Second here. 2005 Kenworth T800 truck for 45,000 from Glenn's Excavating and Trucking in Colville, Washington.
Second motion.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Say none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Well, motion carries. Aye. Oh,
Thank you, guys.
well,
Thank
enjoy
you.
your trip to Washington.
I spent a lot of time up there.
I wonder.
Right.
I'm going up that direction for Christmas. You want me to pick it up for you?
We were logging for the.
No. I'm joking.
We were logging for the Colville reservation up there. Posting.
Oh,
floor
that's
plan.
right.
Yep.
You told
Spent a
me about
lot of
that.
time up there.
Yeah.
Nice area.
Have hard enough time driving my own truck, let alone one of theirs.
Do juvenile crime prevention grant, that's the one we took off.
No, we took off the
Excuse me.
ratification of the grant application.
Oh, that's right. That's right. This is the one that comes talk to us about.
This is, yeah, we
Yeah.
took off the one on
That's
the
right.
backside on 7, the ratification.
I read through this at home. It's a small chance. I think everything's still in order, but we'll find out. So.
This is, the JCP grant is what's used to fund one of the positions over in juvenile.
Yeah.
And it's one that we sign every year. It looks like they just bumped up the funding from 63 to 70.
An amendment, yeah.
There's what I'm looking for, yeah. And then, they had a short, this was another one that had such a short amount of time to
Yeah,
apply
I
for
think
it. They,
When we originally did it, because this is an amendment, but
Yeah.
when we originally did it, it seemed like it was a quick,
yeah.
it was just a couple, 3 months ago that we did the original.
Right. So I'll make a motion that we approve the amendment number 2 to grant number 15660 from 63,000 to 70,000 for the juvenile crime prevention grant from the Oregon Department of Education.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Emergency Management State Homeland Security Grant Program.
Were your ears ringing 2 nights ago?
Huh?
Yeah, I was legal action, you know, and as soon as I hit the exit here, you guys were done.
Oh.
I was coming in to stop it. So this grant program is through the state. FEMA money comes down. There's a selection committee that meets back in Salem, but what they decided to do with this, it used to be all competitive grant. They've now allocated funds to each county, kind of based on your size. So we get that amount just for us, and we just got to submit an application for that project. So in the past, what we've been doing is replacing 2 of the repeaters up at our repeater sites throughout the county to kind of help, so we don't have to put that aside differently or pull it out of other funds. So that's what we've been doing. So this is, I think, the 3rd time we've done that with this grant money to do that, just because it benefits all those first responders and those that are using that system.
Is that just a constant that like every year you have to probably check in
they're-
maintenance?
They do get maintained every year or go and up, you know, like checked out all that stuff. But, you know, I'd say we'll get, once we get through them all, we'll probably have a few years where we'll be able to use those funds for some of the plans and those type of things. But, yeah.
So yeah, that answers my question of the random 29,905.
Yeah, it was something the state, yeah.
So their calculations on
Yeah,
the
I believe,
population.
one of the years, based on the quotes I had to put less than $100 to help buy the radios or the repeaters. So it almost covers both of them, but there's one year that the radios were just a little bit higher because I think it was the first year we did it. It was a lower amount of money. And so I had to put in a little bit, but it was very, very small amount,
Nice.
for what we got.
So how often do you do this?
This grant's once a year.
Okay. I remember a similar thing going on years ago when I was on search and rescue and we were going around changing the repeaters.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Where are we at? How many left?
I believe we only have like, I was just thinking that was in there, 2 to 4 left because we did get another grant. The sheriff's office did, and I think they were able to get 4 more done.
Okay.
So we've got 10, so just, yeah.
So
Unless we want to expand, and that would be like that comms trailer that they have, that's a
Sure.
remote repeater type of a thing. So we did something like that to make sure we had the backup we could pull up onto the hill or something like that.
sure.
And I believe I had in there that the environmental study needed to be done, but I got an email today that was, our project's approved, so now we can move forward once all the signatures.
We
Okay.
can buy a backpack repeater in Bruce and we can take it out there.
Yeah, and these repeaters are really help with all those new bleachers, so you can hear stuff, you know.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay, well,
I don't mind taking something up, but when? I don't want it's real time.
we'll take the antenna.
Back. Okay. I read through it
No, it looks good to me.
previously and I didn't have a problem with it. Like I say, he answered my question, so.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to make it or do you want me to make it?
I'll make a motion to accept the State Homeland Security Grant Program for emergency management. The grant number 23-202 for 29,905.
I'll second that motion.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thanks,
There you
Jason.
go.
Thanks for all that information too.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Just the two that needed to get it, didn't get it.
And that's where it's,
That's where everybody,
How
that's where everybody was at in the room saying, why didn't you get it? So.
Well,
Yeah, because you weren't there, I didn't talk much. So, I thought anything I say is gonna be inaccurate, so I just decided not to say much.
I did get email that night that he's
like, Okay.
oh, I found it. Here's the, so, okay.
Okay, yeah.
You do have it, so,
The two that should have been looking at it.
yeah, right.
So,
when,
okay.
when I forget the next two times, I need to talk to you about extrication stuff, so.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so if you can remember it in between the two, I forget, the, two coming up, then.
Sure.
Yeah, come find me or call me.
Sounds good.
All right, thank you.
Thank
you,
you.
Jason.
All right. TLTC Visitor Services RFP. Again, it's that time already. You guys get to look through this.
Yes.
And what do you think? So every 2 years, we've had to go out for the, whoever's going to operate visitor center funded by transient lodging tax money. And we're on it again. It looks like they're going to update it to 5 years this time.
And this is Devon's
For now.
for now. Yeah.
And, someone else could come in and apply or whatever, but this is just the RFP.
Coming from TLT.
We have to approve their request for proposal before they send it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That was the clarification I needed.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
It looks fine to me.
Were
I
you able to
was-
read through it? I
Yeah.
read through it and I didn't have anything to compare with before, but
Well, it's typical,
it's kind of looks,
typical language,
yeah.
and Kim's already looked at it anyway, I think. Did- Heidi, did Kim look this over?
Or does she have
Or
to?
did she have time?
Yes, she did. Sorry, it took me a second to remember, but yeah, there was just some slight changes
Yeah,
from the
okay,
last
okay.
time.
Yeah.
And so we went and made those changes. She reviewed it, made some more changes
All right,
and then
yeah.
I was gonna say, I
worked with Shelley on that.
think I saw this on an invoice I just signed, so. Only, let me say here. Only thing I saw that's been a question, but that's more for the TLT board, maintain open hours May 1st through September 30, Monday through Sunday, 7 days a week, 9 to 5, October 1st through April 30, Wednesday to Sunday, 5 days a week, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Work with TLTC to adjust hours of operation to meet needs of visitors and show operational efficiency. Okay, so that sounds like that gives them a little leeway if No one's showing up on Sunday.
Well, and they probably had that documented when they've had the
We had the same discussion last
Yeah.
time.
the amount of visitors and non-visitor times.
That's all. I'm okay with it. Looks right to me. It looks, like I said, about the same as the last one. Well, I was on the board the last time, so.
Need a motion to approve or just a blessing?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
a motion.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve the request for proposal for Baker County Visitor Services.
RFP.
That's good enough, right?
RFP
All right.
for the
Yeah,
TLT
request-
Visitor Services.
Yeah, I did
RFP.
say request for proposal for.
Yes.
Baker County
Oh,
Visitor Services. Yeah.
That's
I'll
what
second.
RFP stands for.
yeah, yeah.
Well, some of us are getting old.
I'll second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 I wasn't gonna argue with you about that, but I thought, did I say that?
I was reading off of the top of the,
Because I've been saying
I
things
was-
that
I was-
I know I did that.
you were
then it
reading
turned out
off
I
of the
didn't.
second page and I was reading off of the top of the,
Oh, that, okay, yeah.
All right, Donnie, tell us about what we're doing here.
did we not already, that wasn't part of it? Okay.
Nope. I brought those this morning. All right, commissioners, this is Ken Diebel,
Welcome.
and he is the project developer for this. So, real quick, the county is being asked to sponsor this as a pass-through for the funding for this particular project. The landowner has had some past issues with what would typically be a sponsor for this type of project, the SWCD or the Watershed Council.
Oh, sure, okay.
Things happen, unfortunately. This is not uncommon for a county to sponsor projects like this. Want to talk to him about the
Sure.
project?
So, like Donnie said, I'm a contractor. I work all over Eastern Oregon. Most of my work is in Malahater County, but I've gotten to know the landowner quite well over the years. And he has a creek called the Little Run Creek on his property that was dredged for gold, probably the late 1930s, early 1940s. And if
Okay,
you're looking at, just imagine what Sumter looks like.
yeah,
This is just a smaller version of that. And unlike Sumter, this is not really coming back at all. You can go out there and stand on it in the spring on the rocks and you can hear the water running underneath.
underneath.
Yeah, and it's a spooky feeling to have that happen. So we've done several different kinds of engineering designs and things like that to come up with a plan on what we want to do. And there's new funding available that has just cropped up. It's from Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife, and I forget the acronym that it stands for, but it's a substantial amount of state funding that will come through and help pay for this. And this, we're actually being encouraged by ODFW to apply for this grant because it fits their criteria perfectly in that it's red band trout, sage grouse, and a few other wildlife species are in the area. Once the goal is to bring this water back up to the surface and have it function like a stream should, with riparian vegetation, surface flow year round, fish passage and things like that.
Does it end and start, does Bull Run end and start in its original path?
Yeah, it hasn't moved at all. I mean,
But
it's
it
in-
found a way to run under the.
Yeah, yeah. So with their dredge machines, however they did it, well, this is kind of unique also that they must have taken a bulldozer or something and shoved all the surface material off to the side, which is still there, and just for the gold, and left those dredge pilings there. It's about a mile and a half total. And no, it just stayed in this little mini valley that's there. So the engineers, we've had several different engineers coming out and look at it, and they think they can reconstitute the stream channel and take that, we're fortunate that the surface material is still there and we can use that kind of slurry it
That's what I
in.
was gonna ask, so you
Yeah.
don't have the silt in the. bottom.
Right, so you,
Okay.
you can silt it in the bottom and kind of seal it and hold it to the top.
Okay.
This is not gonna be cheap by
Right.
any means.
Are there any other barriers that would, other than this? This area with the tailings
Right.
that would prevent fish?
No,
from moving
actually,
up?
I think this is one of the things, doing some research on it and talking to folks that know the area, water quality and fish passage is pretty good
Okay.
on this particular stream. So that's why this is of interest to ODF and W, because it has the habitat, once we get it fixed, if we're successful, that it will have the habitat benefit, connection for the fish to move up and down.
Are they getting any movement all the way down now, or is there?
No.
There's no way.
No way. No.
Well, that's what I was wondering is where, does this stream resurface somewhere?
Yeah, it's about 1.5 miles that it goes underground.
Okay.
And then it pops back up just at the end of the landowner's property. And it's, I believe, a tributary of the South Fork. And it does run into the South Fork. Spur River.
Spur River.
Yeah, sorry,
Mhm.
Spur River.
And that runs off into Mount Airy County?
I'm not sure where the South Fork goes.
No, South Fork.
It runs
It goes into the Burnt River somewhere.
Oh, it does go into the river.
It is the South Fork of the Burt River that goes from,
Okay, so this is on, yeah, I know where the South Fork is then. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
out of
pretty close to
Unity.
Unity.
Yeah, but off towards
It's-
the
It's what blew out
east, right?
out of Unity in
Yeah.
2016
West?
west.
10% of the Unity residents.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh.
It's what
It's
is
off to the west. huh?
Noodle, isn't it what blew out? Yeah, it's the South Fork of the river that blew out above when you go in, you leave Unity in the center of Unity, there's a turn, you go up, and that's what
Oh,
I was
okay,
looking
okay,
at to
okay.
reopen because it had blown out and going up to that lookout.
Okay.
That's all the South Fork that, so up above that Bull Run runs into it.
I-
If you're in Unity, you can look up and Bull Run Mountain is
Right.
up to the
Right.
that way.
That
I know my north, south, east, and west here. So.
And the landowner said if any of you want to come out and take a tour,
Yeah.
he's more than willing to have you come out and take a look.
What-
And you should go because it's a
I'd like
spectacular.
to.
Who is
Yeah.
the landowner?
Ben Norton.
Okay.
Donnie, field trip,
Why here free
Cherokee.
I know.
route? Why here free route?
Yeah, free rocks.
Oh.
I don't know about that. I
It's
think they
nice
wanna keep
that,
it.
that even though this is on private, that this is, that this landowner is doing this and, for the benefit of the whole street. Outside of his property, so I definitely see the advantage to that.
Is this just gonna be state funds or they're gonna be
It's- no, it
federal
would be
funds?
state.
Just
It's
state?
all state.
Okay.
Mhm. They have 15 or $20 million in this fund. So, and this is the first time it's been offered. So I really want to jump on it when they don't really have a lot of competition yet.
Yeah.
Because people don't know about it.
Yeah,
So-
get it.
What would our percentage for?
It's 7.2. It's on the
So
first page.
If this is over $1 million proposal, so you'd be getting over $70,000. It's
Yeah.
bad.
Looks like 1.2
Yeah, something like that. Total.
approximately.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's just we'll have to refine it.
Right,
So.
yeah.
I don't have any questions. I had the pleasure to meet
Heidi?
before and
What do you
discuss
think?
it.
No, well, that's what I'm gonna ask here is, I know that we've had major problems with time handling big grants before. Is this going to cause an issue or not?
So I guess it depends on what the grant requirements are. I mean, I don't know until we see what the grant contract, because the next step would be to actually apply.
Right, this is
proposal
just
due at the
asking
end of the
for,
month.
Like, do we
Permission
even
to
want to
apply.
consider doing this? And then they would apply. And then if we are awarded.
Mhm.
Then we
Brian
would
comes
decide
back.
to accept it. or not.
Right.
Yes,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. Then
So
I'm
you
okay.
still
with it.
have a chance to look at things
Okay.
and figure it out,
All right.
but it's just a lot of work for Donnie or whoever to do the grant application. I mean, there's time there.
I don't, are you doing the grant?
No.
No, I
You're
didn't think
doing
so. I didn't
it.
think so. It's all,
Yeah, that was gonna be
Yeah.
my next question is, who's doing this?
yeah, and until it gets funded, then it would
Then
pass
it would
through
have to-
and that's when the
Right, it
admin
means-
fees.
Donnie and I worked together for what, 20 years or so.
At least.
So we know how to work
You seem
together.
to be faring pretty well.
Yeah. So it's a natural fit for us to do that.
It would come from the state to the county, and then the county would then pay the landowner.
Well, it would
We'd
be
be
contract.
the contractors that go
Contractors to
through.
do the work.
Yeah,
Right.
we would
Oh,
just
I
be the
see.
go through for it.
Right.
You just
Instead
be
of the
pass-through.
landowner getting the contract.
Because
for
they
the
can't.
Grant.
No.
They can't be the sponsor.
They can't be the
Yeah.
sponsor.
Right.
And that's
An
why that they,
individual, it has to be some kind of entity.
So it's gonna be really similar to our ODOT, where it
Yeah.
come through us to a contract.
Yeah, and same thing with like the fire station
Right.
and the other municipality.
Water
take on
towers.
those.
okay.
So, any way
Well,
we can get water back up to the surface, I'm good with it.
I like doing projects like this, so
And so who would do the reporting on it?
It would be me
You would-
through Donnie would approve,
Okay,
but I would be doing the,
you would be preparing all
Yeah,
the stuff and then
right.
she would have to be the one to submit it to
Right.
get the money, the drawdown.
correct.
So.
Oh, it wouldn't be Christina. It would be,
It'd be just the same as what we do
Yes,
for
okay.
ODOT. He'll
Yeah.
report, I'll verify it, get all
Right.
the background information and all.
pass
Put
it
in
on.
the, yep,
So I'll be doing all the legwork
Gotcha.
and making sure that everything's being done right.
And so then you get paid a portion of that admin?
Yeah,
fee?
I'll put in for project management money in the
Okay.
grant.
Gotcha.
So I'll be a contractor just like anybody else.
So then the county would need to have a contract with you then, right? If we get
Probably,
the
yes.
money,
or at least,
and then we would
Yeah.
contract with him, and then we would
I don't-
have to go out to bid for contractors to do the work. Is that right?
I don't know. Just
I
be
don't know
a
how your
pass-through for
rules
the
work.
grant.
Mhm.
Would it?
I think so, just the same as we have to do for ODOT. We
Yeah.
had to do the
This is
full
the
RFP and we're certainly capable of doing that.
And that's something I've done a lot of.
Part of the admin fees.
Yeah. Yeah, so with this being over $1 million, for sure on the contractor cleanup work will be a formal RFP process.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Sure, no doubt.
I
I'm good
guess
with the
you'd
plan.
have to, just anyway, to find people to,
Well, yeah, I
Do
have
that
a
kind
list
of
of
work.
contractors I work with
yeah.
through, and these days, for whatever reason, anybody that's any good is really busy.
Mhm.
Right.
So finding somebody, I put out bids and you get one or two people show up and that's it. So,
Sure.
but you gotta go through the process and that's
Absolutely.
And you're
expected.
familiar with the
Yeah.
process.
Okay.
I have a question. How many tons of material you plan on moving?
I don't remember off the top of my head how many cubic yards it is, but it's in the 40 to 50,000 cubic yards moving it around.
So you would want heavy equipment.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of,
County roads gonna need a lot of use.
yeah, probably.
Mm.
So,
Would we need to build something into the application for like
3%.
Huh?
3%.
for the,
Yeah, something small.
to re-rock the road or is there?
Well, certainly,
people on
yeah,
that road,
the-
Like dust abatement needed or anything?
No,
I don't know.
No, on that one,
no,
okay.
no, it would take, no.
And that would go to the contract.
yeah, we put it in there
Okay.
for sure.
So we have that noted anyway, that we would need to
We'll put
address
it
the
in
road issue
But line item in the budget proposal.
Absolutely.
for the road maintenance. Okay.
Or can be paid in material.
See the gears moving. Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the Bull Run project grant fund pass through Yeah. That's, do I need to note the admin fees or anything? I don't think so.
Not at
Okay.
this point. I think it's more just
Just
approving
approval
us
of
to
the
move
pass-through.
forward with.
Right. Applying for the grant. Right.
Okay.
I'll second the motion.
All right. Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries.
We're
Thank you.
applying for,
To stay for the grant policy
applying for that.
discussion.
I wasn't
I
clear
don't
on.
know. I don't know what all that is
Which
gonna
is why,
entail, if
so-
you need that or not.
Just
I mean, you might,
approving
just
for applying, or them
informed, right?
applying for it.
since you do.
I
since you
didn't
work
know
with
that
them.
when I made the agenda, if that was what that
Oh.
was,
Yeah.
that's what I mean.
Yeah, I know. So I'm thinking that maybe you could even chime in if you need it.
So what can,
Since our DA is back, do you want to see, is there something
I
that is
just
later?
needed, I grabbed the form that I had filled out before my conference.
Oh,
Saved the county $74.
Oh,
okay,
There you go.
okay. Okay, now you're good to
You're
go.
good.
thank you.
Yep.
Baker County Economic Development Council Steel Architecture Agreement.
We have anybody here from?
No, I don't think so.
So we already went over
We've
that
gone over this. one.
steel is, that we wanted steel as the, we liked their presentation the best.
Right.
So now it's just the agreement between
Yeah, we're just.
EDC and so I was able to read through this. Brian sent it to all of us last week.
Mhm.
And I don't meet again with Brian until tomorrow, but we did touch on it
It all looks.
in the
fairly
last, and this is
straightforward.
just a draft.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is just a draft. It's not the final.
No, I think these say draft on them, but this is the agreement to sign.
It is,
Yeah. I
okay.
mean,
Do
unless
we-
he has told you otherwise, but I assume that's why it's here.
Aaron, do we have the non-draft in the yellow to sign?
This is all I was sent.
It's just kind of, I had a question
I was wondering.
why we would approve an agreement that says draft on it.
Yeah, me too.
Can we get Brian is on the line or something like that, just to clarify? Is it possible?
And let's put this on hold and.
Yeah, if
We can skip it for
if
now.
we can skip it
Yeah.
and
It
then,
happens to come
yeah,
online.
I would just like a little clarification on that.
Okay. So are we,
Why don't you just skip over this for now?
okay,
Okay, and you know, we're also looking at his economic development, the bylaws next, so if he
Oh,
wants
sure.
to chime in on both of these. Okay,
oh, there we are. Well, let's go to the Economic Development Council bylaws.
well, that's what I just asked, if we want to skip that until we hear from
Yes.
him.
Do we need to? I mean, we put them over.
We've looked them over and Bruce and I were pretty much fine with
Yeah.
all of it. You just have the question of the grants being in there.
Right, we talked about that in work session, and you guys liked it the way it was written, except that we did change the terms. of the
Right.
members,
Right.
Which is better.
You're right, we did clarify on the
Yeah.
terms, and that was the only
So-
change that,
And there is an email here from him, and it's, they met on the 21st and voted to approve the changes.
Yeah,
okay.
I was there for that, so. That's the last time I get to vote. I think that was the last thing I get to vote on that committee before we changed the rules to where I'm not voting.
I know it, but for the most part, I mean, there's so many other advantages in these bylaws, you know?
No, I think that's fine, because I get,
you know, it's silly for me to vote on stuff in that committee and then bring it up here and vote on it again,
Yeah,
so.
yeah, yeah.
Agreed.
So
Alright.
you think we can just move
Oh, I
forward on
think
this
so,
then?
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
without having
No, we don't
Brian on
need to
that.
hash it over, right?
Okay,
Just want a motion?
Sure.
Can I make a motion that we approve the Baker County Economic Development Council bylaws as written?
I'll second.
All right, have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. New bylaws for Economic Development Council.
Or did you approve them?
The bylaws we did, where was he able?
I left a message.
Okay, okay, so table the agreement for right now. Short break.
Yeah, let's do the short break and then I'll
Okay.
give him time to get caught up. I am pretty sure that this is it. This is what we're supposed to do.
Well, you see my question though.
Yeah. And it looks like on the back, there's only line for owner, so it looks like you'd be authorizing me to sign it when I get an actual copy of this, so.
Mhm.
So where's the money coming to pay for this is
The wedge money.
how much was that? Just for some reason I
It's
can't
out of
remember.
the 2.25 million or something.
Out of the Lassie?
No, it's out of state legislature, Christmas tree.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So they got, or we got 2.25.
Right.
And is it,
But it's for that ward property out there.
okay,
Specifically for the
Yeah,
ward
it's
property.
specifically for event center.
Yeah.
So,
when did we get that?
6 months ago.
well, yeah, plus
3 months ago.
long session.
Okay,
Yeah, they approved
sometime.
it in the tail end. so.
okay.
Short break?
Yes.
Okay,
So we're tabling this until we hear from Brian if
yeah, if he gets
we're,
back to
if
us,
we're agreeing on a draft or not.
right, right.
And if
So,
we get to 11:20 a.m. and he hasn't said anything, let's
we'll
make
take it
it
to the
wait until
20th.
Take it
afterwards.
to the 20th.
I'd
Okay.
like to be able to do it today, but, all right, 10-minute break. Back into contract review board.
We're hoping you're still out there, so.
I can do research anywhere. Modern technology.
Did you bring my photo over?
No. You email?
No, I haven't. Well, probably,
You haven't
but I
looked at it.
haven't
Probably
opened
there.
the thing.
Send me a link to it so that I can show the friends.
For,
Bye.
oh, that one. Oh, no, I was talking about the one in the bathroom.
Oh, no.
Have we heard from Brian?
Yes.
What'd he say?
He said that it's, the purpose today is for you guys to approve the, if you were okay with that draft version, then they would go and get a final version signed by them and then have you guys sign it, so.
Oh, we're just
Okay,
approving the
okay,
draft.
we're just approving the draft.
Okay.
See, this is what that was my question. Are we
Okay.
approving an agreement or are we approving a draft? Okay,
Yeah, so it doesn't sound like it'll come back, the final will come back to session.
okay.
It'll just be if you guys are good with this, then
Who do you
they
want
will
to?
sign and then
Okay,
Shane would sign out of session.
Okay, Shane was shy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm the one with the bum tooth, Ivy. So we would, on the back, we would just have them stick my name on there?
Yeah.
Well, on the final, not on this draft.
Well, I could write it in this draft
No.
right now. I'm going to.
I make a motion. Can I make a motion? Are we
Yeah.
back in?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
yeah.
I would like to make a motion to accept the Baker County Economic Development Council. Oh, no, steel architectural agreement.
As it's written?
As is written in the draft AIA document B 101-2 017.
I'll second the motion.
And we just want my name. As an alternate.
Well, it's gonna go to them. They're gonna sign it. They're gonna, and then, the final comes back to you.
Right.
And that's just the way it's
But that's what
written.
it, right.
It's already written, so we're just accepting this draft as written.
So you like it this way?
Yeah.
You like it this way?
As long as it hasn't changed.
Okay.
The last one I
Okay,
read.
because this is what they send back will be the, for now and ever.
Right.
Piece or whatever it is.
Okay, so that's my motion. To accept the draft.
I seconded it.
Yeah.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Saying none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Approved the draft copy of the contract from Steel. And we can't wait to see when it comes back. This isn't any contract review board, just documents to be signed for the bylaws. Does it,
For the museum?
because they've already got bylaws, we're just changing, does it
What-
need to be in a different section? Okay,
What are we changing in the,
Just the number of commission members.
which I have a problem with, changing it from 7 to 11. I know that you stated why you would want 11, but that's for basically work that needs to be done.
here, hang on a second. Do we need to close contract review for,
Oh.
or is there, are there anything else we need to do in contract review?
I think that was the last thing, number 12 there.
Yeah, that was the last one
Okay.
on contract.
Contract review board is now closed. Okay, continue on. If we're going, yeah, well, come on up.
Okay, so I know your reason for going from 7 to 11 is that you feel that your board members do all of the work and that would give you more board members to do more work.
They do a lot of work.
Okay, okay. How do you, I just think 7 to 11 people and you've got a quagmire, but
I understand where you're coming from on that,
Mhm.
and I would agree with you, except in the museum's case, because they have 7 of them, and if they have a few missing, somebody's in charge of something, this report or that report, and it isn't happening, and they're getting tired. They're all older people.
right.
Right.
And so you're getting some younger ones on there by expanding that board and, or the commission rather. And so I think you'd get more participation, and I think it would actually help
Well, and it
them
will
out a little
help
bit.
as we
because-
lose the older members. We'll actually have younger ones that have been there and know what's going
And
on. And
It's a
take
way of
those
educating new
positions.
people too.
But at the same time, Aaron just put out to fill the vacancy of McQuiston. And you got
nothing.
0.
We have 4 people that are just
She has
waiting
received
to find
0.
out.
She has received 0 though on just filling your 7 right now, is what I'm saying.
Right.
I would.
I could
it
have
would-
one
it
turned
would-
in by this afternoon.
It would look different if anybody would have turned in during that time frame, of her asking for that vacancy to be filled.
How long has
one
that
of-
been out?
2 weeks?
It's longer than, I
Longer
think,
than
longer
that.
than 2 weeks. Let me pull it up really
I think the
quick.
people that we have recruited were waiting to see if we could expand the board.
But you don't, this, what I'm saying is, no matter what, nobody put in for your one vacancy so far.
Okay.
Whether they were not aware of it or
Okay,
whatever.
so I do see.
I
where
see
you're
what
You see
you're
what I'm saying?
I do see that. And if you've got 4 people that want to be on the
The
board,
25th of October.
25th
they're
of
going,
October.
they're using the
Over a
wrong
month.
process. They need to go directly to Aaron
Right.
and
Yeah.
say, we want to be on the board.
So, what is your form right now? I don't have.
7. It's in
Well,
her
that-
staff
that's-
report.
That's the. total.
That's our total.
That's her total is
commission
7.
Does the
board, yeah.
bylaw
And
speak
so
to
you'd be
quorum?
4.
Mhm.
What does it say?
Four.
4.
4.
So then
Have
you would, did you take in account of what it would change your quorum to if you add on 4 more?
Well, it would be 6 or 5. It'd be 6 then, would be your, it's always, isn't it?
Well, you could-
50% plus 1 is you'd have to have
Yeah,
for,
you could define what it is in there if you wanted to, but I agree.
normally it would
It'd
be
be 6,
6.
yeah.
That would be,
So-
make your quorum.
That'd be. the
So it's
problem.
actually 2 more than
Yeah.
what you have now.
And-
So,
Well, it would be 2 more than what you have right now, but it would be exactly how many you have right now. Because
on
they're
board.
it's
Without
on
care.
board right now.
See, that's what I'm saying.
You have a
One
7-person
person-
board, you have 6 people.
One person doesn't show up, you can't conduct business because you don't have a quorum. If we go to 11,
Right.
you don't get, so
Oh, wait a minute. What do you mean? If
If
one
we-
person doesn't show up,
if we go to.
Doesn't make sense.
If we
As
go
of
to
today.
11,
you go to 11, if 5 don't show up, you've got 6 people there, you have a quorum.
Right.
right, but I'm saying if 5 people show up,
Then you don't have a
You
quorum.
don't have a quorum.
That's true.
Right.
so that's what I'm saying.
Right.
If all of a sudden the 4 disappear and then somebody's, the same crowd shows up that you've got right now minus 1,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna be in trouble.
I think what I would like to see is if in fact you get 4 people putting in for the committee or commission, then that would look different than it does right now.
I see what you're saying.
With right now having 7 positions and 6 of them filled and nobody put in for it since October 25th, 25th, then that's where I was a little, that's where
I
I
see
was
what you're saying.
concerned.
Yep.
You wanna continue it till 20th?
I would like to continue it. I would
Okay.
say that if you have 4 people that are looking at this and that are wondering,
They need to get
Aaron
paid.
needs
well.
to know.
Okay,
Yeah.
Because we were looking at it from,
right.
Well,
Nope,
and
I see
they're not
exactly
gonna
what
be
you're
able to
saying.
fill it.
Yeah,
And then what, that's exactly.
And then you'd
what I
have to
asked
have all
you.
6 of your people.
right,
that
right.
are on there.
Nope, I see exactly what you're saying.
And that's what
Mhm.
exactly
At
what I
last
asked you
night's
at the
meeting,
last Monday.
Yeah.
was,
Yeah,
there
I can't
was,
get anybody to fill these other ones.
yeah.
Why are you so special? You know?
there were 4 people last night that were tired. We're being totally burnt out. We don't have time for this all the time. Some of them go south in the winter too, they're gone this way.
And
that
that's
way.
another reason
they
to
run
look at it like that
businesses.
too,
Right.
because then are they gonna stay on? Are you gonna drop off with 4 of them
Right.
and then
that's-
have to get 4
that's-
more?
That
So
is
would
another
be
issue.
8
if they
new
start
ones that
doing
you'd have to be looking at to fill an 11th person
Mhm.
commission.
Mhm.
So it's just
I see. what you're
raising
saying,
those
exactly.
stakes a little bit
Mhm.
higher to have that quorum in place.
Right. Right.
Yeah, that's interesting that 4 more people yeah.
Right, so I'm wondering, can you have a council that, or a commission that has, your quorum is the number of people that show up, half of that, the majority of what they show up? I think you can.
I'm not sure.
So,
I don't know. I don't think so.
No, I think you'd have to have your 1
Whoever.
plus 50%,
Yeah.
plus 1 in
Well,
order to get to quorum, no matter what, because that's, you have a 7-person commission.
Otherwise, if it's just one person that shows up, then
That'd be handy.
That'd be just like us, if, just one of us showed up and we said,
well, and you word it a little different.
Yeah, yeah.
But,
so that's my concern anyway.
mhm.
Not against anything
Nope,
like
valid.
that, but
Nope, I
I
see
just would
exactly
be
what you're
afraid of
saying.
you not getting to quorum.
Mhm. And if you don't have 11 members, you still need the 6.
You still need 6.
Right.
Yeah. I see what
Yeah.
you're saying.
Right, yeah,
I
Yeah.
get that.
so,
That makes total sense.
we actually had this discussion at AOC about.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and it was whoever shows up at the meeting, and then you take your quorum from there.
And that
percentage-wise.
was and that was
Yeah.
an AOC issue, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would like to table this.
Okay.
okay.
That makes
And
sense.
you might talk to the commission again and
Yep.
just clarify our concerns.
Yep, I will,
Okay.
definitely, because that makes total sense. Opens
Okay.
my eyes more too. So,
Okay,
because that's, that's why it's good to discuss things like this with you, because you will see things like that
Mhm.
I don't see,
right,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, you guys, just cause of anything to
Mhm.
get stuck and then.
So maybe the other way to do it too would be talk about this too, that you have some alternates on there and
At large or
at
something.
large or something, and if one of the regulars is going to be gone or something, then one of the alternate kicks in and then
Because you
Step
could
in.
look at large as,
something like that.
beyond your 7.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Good ideas.
Yeah, well, and gives you a little bit of time
It does,
to.
yeah. Yep, that helps.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I'm excited if you've got people willing to step in. for
Well,
sure.
I couldn't believe that they brought so many names.
And maybe at this point, then looking at keeping the 7 and then getting some of those other people on as at large or whatever, then that would be our
Well, if they can
alternates.
start out on our friends board, that's good too.
Yeah,
Well, I was wondering.
Yeah.
about that.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank
thanks,
you.
I
Lynn.
will read your email.
Okay.
Let me out of here. All right, I am totally out of order.
Back on schedule.
More or less.
I gotta go get a baby.
I sent my brother to get one of mine.
Can you get mine too?
Sure. He's just like running around scooping kids up.
Okay, so we are back to the policy adoption grant.
Yeah,
You ready?
yeah, well, yeah. Come on.
Okay, so this whole thing started with Donnie's, the transportation transit grant. Part of their requirements was that we have something like this in place. And so from there, we put together the policy as we had a template from another county that we use. I want to say it was down from Klamath County, I believe. And then also with it is the grant request form. I liked it enough. I mean, not just for the transportation side, but just in general for all county departments. And so basically what it is whenever there's a grant that is more than the 5,000, which is, that number is based off of our purchasing policy. And so it kind of seems to go hand in hand, because whenever you have a grant, there's going to be a grant agreement. And so it would still come back to the commissioners. But I thought it was important for commissioners to be able to look at what departments were applying for. So, and just kind of like what we did today, as far as, making sure that we want to do that kind of stuff. Do we want to go down that road? And so anyways, that's what this policy is. That form, we've made some changes to it, even from when I think I talked about it or first rolled it out at the department head meeting. There's just been a few little things that have come up, and I've gotten some feedback from some department heads and made some little tweaks to it. And so, but overall, not much else has changed. Some changes to the form, the policy itself, maybe a little bit. I'll bring my notes with me, but just one of the comments we had was as far as signing out a session. So we had that come up with Stacy in the juvenile department. And I think I added some language here on page 2, number 3. It says if a grant application is due before they can get it to session, the department head or grant requester can get approval through the commission chair and then ratification at the next session.
Which that makes sense. Some of these have been so tight.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say.
And it's to the benefit of these departments, to be able to
It
secure
is.
those.
Yeah.
So they basically just been running up to my office and saying,
I need this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to put in for it.
yeah, it's been crazy, like 5 days.
Yeah,
And it's big
yeah.
stuff that,
Yeah.
and stuff that we've already done in the past, but it's like,
No, and I read through it. I was wondering if that the underline and that explains
Yeah.
why that addition
Yeah.
there. So
So what happens if the commission chair is over in Idaho having a baby and the grant needs approved? and they
We
can't
can
get a hold of
add
them?
or his designee or whatever.
Okay.
Or-
yeah,
All right.
I think that's
It, whether that be one of you guys or, I mean, it should be one of you guys.
it's yeah. I mean, between the
Well,
three
then-
of us, somebody's going to be.
Then say
If that happens again.
By
we're
a
all-
maybe
commissioner.
the senior commissioner that's available
Don't let your wife
at the
hear
time,
No, gee,
or something like that.
you'd want me to guarantee.
Yeah, I think just that little language saying the chair first, so that it's clear who they need to go to
Right. Right.
if he wasn't available. But-
Okay,
Right.
and they really need
so
it.
you are okay with that? If it's a-
Heck yeah.
Okay.
I've got enough stuff to do. Yeah.
So approval through the commission chair or other designated commission or commissioner. And or commissioner.
So, yeah, this is just applying for it anyway.
Yeah, it's just an
Yeah.
application.
Yeah.
It's not even a contract.
Right.
No,
right.
it's up to us
Yeah,
to
so
decide at that point when
Not a
they,
big deal.
yeah, before they receive it.
Well, at least it gives us a little idea that they're going out after.
Right, right.
And I like the simplicity of the grant form. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just, it's pretty straightforward, not a lot of fluff.
If they have to be doing grant paperwork, we don't need to make that worse.
Yeah, no, that is just real general to the point, and so I would make a motion, if you guys are okay, to accept the grant policy as written.
I'll second that motion.
All right.
As written, then.
Or,
For the policy, I
or
mean,
with,
I'm sorry, with the addition
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
beyond the chair
yeah.
for approval to the other two commissioners.
so we have a motion,
second.
we have a second. Any further discussion? Saying none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Boards and committees policy?
Yeah.
Who's doing that?
I was, but Kim was available for the foreclosure property discussion and instead
Oh.
of having her sit through, can we
Oh, do you wanna do
real
that?
quick? And
Sure.
Yeah, that's H.
Oh, yeah, let's
It's
do
on
that.
H. We just thought she wanted to hang out with us
I kind of
for like
haven't,
the whole afternoon.
I haven't got to spend a lot of time with you there for a while, it's just every day. I'm kind of missing you.
Thanks. I'm down there in that hole most of the time.
Aw, well, are you gonna sit in the corner
Yeah,
there?
no, I'm not gonna, I just want to be present. for
Oh,
this
okay.
Conversation because I do have a question that I probably could ask ahead of time, but I understand that this was set on the agenda to discuss, and I suppose I gotta be somewhere. where people can-
Well, and I can tell you that I think I asked for this because I saw the email from Dan McQuiston come through about the property down in Huntington
Oh,
Yeah.
and how it's boarded up and all of that stuff, and that it is foreclosure property. So I asked, I said, can we have a discussion about this? Because the discussion that I wanted to have was, where are we at with this? We have this property down there, and I don't think that's so safe. I mean, it's boarded up and everything, but gosh, when we have property like that we would really, probably need to do something with. I was just wondering where we were at. And then Heidi came back and she said, hey, that you and Tracy maybe have been working on that, coming up with something. And so I actually didn't think it was going to be on here. I don't know.
Okay.
Um,
So maybe we could set it over for, unless the conversation needs to happen, but could set it over for another time. But yeah, and Heidi could go through, if not now, later on, like what the typical process is for
Right.
for foreclosure and like where these properties are in that process.
Mhm.
The fact that they're boarded up and they've been signed makes me happy
Okay.
because that's what needs to happen for the county's liability. Plus, they are insured as soon as they
Okay.
they do that work.
We
to get
do,
them insured.
so, and do you guys want me to talk a little bit about the process in general and then just?
It's
the
up to you
policy
guys
that we're
because,
Want to table it to the 20th?
and we can table it if you want to, because we've gone on so long. I just, the more I think about this new policy with the state of Oregon and having to pay back, above and beyond what is owed to us and things like that, it just seems like an incentive to the people not to pay. I mean, if they're not paying and then they go into foreclosure and then we, have to do something with it and then we're like, here's your money back, because you didn't pay.
Yeah, so,
It's
and you're
silly.
talking about the Supreme Court decision that came out
Oh,
in
yes,
May.
yes.
That says that any proceeds over the cost of the property back taxes and then the maintenance on the property and other fees.
Have to go back to the previous.
Then those go back to the.
It's just ridiculous.
the previous owner. So, and we are working through a policy that complies with that Supreme Court decision. I'll also say that there is active litigation
Okay.
in Oregon related to that Supreme Court decision. So if we're gonna, we should not go into particulars of what county response will be to
Right.
that.
And yes.
That's for an executive session. So,
No.
that is for another time, but we,
Okay.
and I do need to get an executive session on the
Okay.
calendar, so we can talk some more about that, because I have more to discuss.
Yeah.
but-
We also have one of these properties that have people in them.
Oh yeah, I know that too.
Yeah.
It's just, I saw that and I thought, oh, what are we ever gonna do with all of these? I mean, so knowing that, and then that's when Heidi got back to me and said, hey, you are working on it and I'm
Oh,
fine
okay.
with that. So
But you guys don't sound like you're ready to present the whole thing.
No.
Anyway, so.
No, I just know that it wanted to be, or,
Yeah.
you maybe had some questions, and so I thought,
Gotcha.
figure out what those questions were, and then also just let you guys know that we are working on a policy
okay.
related to that, at least for now, to address the surplus property issue, but then down the road, we also plan on doing just an overall foreclosure process.
Sure.
Policy. And so anyways, but.
Okay. Yeah, I just
So-
wanted to touch base and so
We probably, the timing of that surplus policy probably won't be ready until early next year.
next year. Yeah. And that's fine. I just, I get really concerned when I see more and more properties, coming in and just sitting there and we can't do, we're not doing anything.
Yeah, and it could be helpful if you're particularly interested, you could go, there are files in the tax office of how many properties have come to county ownership in each year. So you can see, some years it's 5, some years it's 13, some years it's 2.
Sure.
So you can see how many properties come to the county through that foreclosure process, and then how many are then, subsequently sold.
Sure.
And I think Heidi and the facilities team do a good job of getting things moved through sheriff sale, and county isn't in the business of owning a bunch of properties out there. So, if that's something that you could go and talk to Tracy about, and she can show you how many you have. just for
Yeah.
additional information.
And I do have another list of, all of the properties that we have and some of them. And then I had Kirby updated me on which ones have been sold and what, and when they were sold and stuff like that. So I was just curious, thinking, how much of a mess is this gonna be with the new?
Well, it's a pretty good mess, a pretty good mess, yeah, yeah.
So, okay.
But we're
I think
working
it's one
through
of
it.
our better ones.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
in
Better
regards to
message.
the one property that has inhabitants
Yeah.
in it, what I know there's been some questions to the county as far as the timing of what's going to happen with that property. And I think I've heard you say that, you know, we're county's not doing anything right away,
Right.
at least until next, you know, early spring, maybe February, March, before we start addressing that.
People that are in there have the money to pay back what is owed, and would, if there's any way they would like to take ownership of it, so.
Yeah, and there's laws, I think, regarding deeding to record owner being the
Yeah.
person who had the deed at the time we took possession, took
Okay.
ownership. So I think we would just need to work through that process next
Yeah.
year.
Okay.
But for those people, you know, for them to know that,
They're good for now.
yeah, we probably will be taking this up again February, March.
Okay.
So, but
Okay.
it would be good to reiterate that if the people who are, you know, in the property or interested in the property, or if they can continue to have conversations, stay in conversation with the tax office.
Mhm.
Because between now and February, they've got some work to do to unwind whatever, you know, they need to have conversations about who's the true, who was the prior owner, and who they've been paying rent to. So we've heard, you know, various stories about how that,
Right.
what that looks like.
Right.
So the message shouldn't be like everything's fine until February, but like
Let's
do
see.
some work on that. Like,
Okay.
They need to do some work to figure out.
And I need, you know, we've been busy, but I want to sit down and talk with you about it, just to understand the process a little better.
Mhm. That's good.
Okay.
You or Tracy? Would Tracy
Yeah.
be
and
a
Tracy's
wealth of
good-
information as well?
And Heidi has a really good handle on.
Yeah.
The foreclosure process and, or the foreclosure process happens in Tracy's office and
Yeah.
then the properties come for sale.
Well, I don't mind hanging out with all three of them, so.
So you said we need an executive session pretty soon on one of these type of things. Why don't we do that in there? And that way you can have all three commissioners at that meeting. And so we can all hear that. And the reason why is because there's certain times that, well, like the people out on 17th Street that went through the Compassion Center, we owned the property. It was actually ours. And because of COVID-19 going on, we didn't want to create more homeless people by kicking them out. And as it turned out, it would have backfired on us had we done that and took that property. We would have had to, according to this court case, we would have probably had to pay them back. So what we did is we actually made an agreement with the, there's a Compassion Center out there. Compassion Center, Community Connection, and myself went down and talked to the people down there and said, look, you've got to pay your property taxes, da, 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 da. And if we can get you some money to pay this up and do this, and we'll have you make loan payments to the Compassion Center. And so that's what was done. And the guy was very appreciative and has been making those payments like clockwork.
Okay.
And so it worked out really well. And thank goodness, because after this court case came out, I got to thinking about that.
So I think,
oh my gosh.
I think you're right that we should like talk about it. in
Yeah.
executive
Right,
session.
right.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Kim.
Okay, yep.
Are you taking off? Or do you want to hang out for the 110 resolution discussion?
Sure, I can stay for that.
Where
We
did
talk
this stuff come from? I just found it.
What, the 110?
Was this already in the packet?
Yeah.
I did not see it at all.
Well, let's jump to that.
We need to get going.
We're skipping.
Exactly what I was looking for.
Yeah, we just need to get going.
So throughout the last year, all of these counties have put forward resolutions speaking out against Measure 110 and the failure that it's been. I did put in some written testimony for this last hearing, but it's kind of an ad hoc committee. There's going to be a lot more work. So the question to you guys, do we want to direct staff to come up with their own resolution and then vote on it?
I would, and I think based off of all of these examples that are in this packet, something has to be done with 110.
Well, and I pulled Commissioner Bethel aside at AOC,
Yeah.
and she said, repeal.
Yes.
And I think that's, my guess is that's about the three of us.
I think we all already know that we want it repealed.
Everybody in the
Yes.
It's
state
not good for anybody.
No, it's not.
either says repeal it or repair it.
Yep.
But
No, we have to support this effort that's going forward and for our county and
Oh, yeah.
for the other counties throughout the state. So I am in favor of us
I'm
being
not in favor of repeal or repair. I'm in favor of repeal.
repeal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So,
because repair is still gonna have some negative things in it for other counties, and I don't want that.
Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
So how do you want to go about it? Is there language that you want to?
I think we're gonna, I don't know who is going to be the one to write it based off of these other examples. I don't know who that would be, if that would be Kim, if that would be
So I guess
us.
a question for you all is, there are the pieces that are probably most, flexible or things that y'all could discuss is, do you want the whereas statements which lay out why, so there are some that are Oregon general, so we've got data on the effects of 110 statewide.
Mhm.
And then there are some that give specific data based on their specific county.
Right.
So, which, if we're going county specific, then we would need to, pull
Data.
Yeah.
And if there's the particular data points that are most reflective of how the three of you are approaching this, then that's helpful for me or for staff to know where you want to do that.
Right, what is most effective is if we focus on county only in our data, or if we refer back to statewide data, and whatever's gonna be strongest.
And we could mention both. You could say whereas, the top state thing that affects us and then move into
County data.
data, but if there was like two whereas that are the most ineffective in the state and then moved in, and we'd have to talk to, well, we've heard from the sheriff and the juvenile. I spoke with Sherry Sealander really briefly, and she's wants to see it repaired more than repealed, but I think in our a stronger complete repeal will come out, it's a stronger statement.
I agree with the strong statement for repeal, because what they'll do is they'll come back and have something else, a totally new bill, and maybe it'll turn out way better.
Yeah.
Do you want us to go through here and highlight what we feel is the strongest that, throughout all of these documents and give to you
That would be
individually?
Yeah, I mean, that would be, otherwise you just rely on whatever it is I think is most important.
Right.
Right.
But that would be useful.
That's what I was thinking.
And then, there, at least one other county has also had, I mean, the Board of Commissioners did the resolution, but like Polk County had their sheriff and the district attorney also sign. So.
I like that too.
I do too.
So that, and then if you're, you know, I don't, if
Oh, that's
whoever else
true.
would be interested, you may
Okay.
think about that.
Yeah.
And then through YouTube outreach, I don't know if mental health folks would also. be
And that's what I was
interested.
thinking too. You got New Directions, that would have a lot to say about this.
They'd have a lot to
And
say.
same thing with the hospital, and same thing with St. Luke's.
Yeah.
And, so, cause there's multiple costs to all of those agencies.
But then we also have to think about timeline too.
Exactly.
In being most effective
Yeah.
in,
So the meeting with, I can't ever track Sherry Sealander down because she's
I know.
all over the place. So, we've got a meeting on the 14th, I think. So it's next week.
and she's with New Directions?
Yes.
Can we get this sent to the sheriff and the DA and ask them for them to highlight for our statement? Whatever is most important for them or the strongest
Or maybe.
statement for repeal.
I would like to hear fresh language from them instead of just picking.
But I think that if you sent it to them, then they would realize, you know,
they would see
what
the
the other
format.
counties are doing.
Basically give them the option.
I can do that.
If
Yeah.
you want to write something
Yeah.
special, great.
Yeah, is there anything in here or
Pick it. Yeah.
So-
personally?
Do you want to write it and look it over or?
No, what I'm
Or
saying
you-
is that we highlight, give
Yeah.
it to her, our most important, and then, yeah, she's gonna have to put it together, the whereas statements
Well,
and,
but what I'm asking is, Aaron worked on, but you're pretty busy, but Aaron worked on the one for the Colonel Baker thing, and it was pretty good. Is that,
Well, if you want to have staff draft it, I can
and
give
then
it a
have you
look
look it
over,
over?
and that's,
What do you-
I'm fine, I'm good with that.
Am I tasking you too heavy, or would you rather Kim? You did a good job with the.
Let's play it by ear until we decide that.
so,
And,
so who do
well-
we turn our most important points into? That's the,
Turn them into Aaron for me.
turn them into Aaron for now.
Yeah.
And let's go forward. Aaron, if you can send this to the sheriff and to the DA at least, and
Yeah.
then you get with New
Okay,
Directions.
Sheriff, District Attorney,
And then,
Juvenile.
If you can
Chief of
gather
police.
everything, then. And we need it within, what,
Last week.
Day and a half.
last week?
No, I'm kidding.
So you want it sent to the sheriff and the DA and juvenile and
City police.
City?
At the time. Or not?
You know me and separation of county and city.
But we can still see what he,
Well, then halfway Huntington,
but they,
Sumter,
they don't have
Haynes.
a police department.
You know, if you wanted to just narrow it and just say these are done, the county departments that are affected, so you could do commissioners and then sheriff and DA
And juvenile.
Okay.
and juvenile.
Juvenile is important because it did directly affect her department.
Yep,
Okay,
and those would be logical places, logical additional signatures if you wanted to include them, or if you
Right.
don't, then also fine.
where.
It would.
And for signature.
Where new
Okay.
where new directions
You
is.
can always send it out to the small cities as a
Yeah.
template.
Yeah.
if they
Yeah.
wanted to
And they can do
something.
their own.
Yeah.
And that's true, yeah.
I just. Okay.
What do you think about keeping it just, our resolution just for county? I don't know, Sherry is a contractor, I don't know if she'll be willing to sign it. But.
So
Well, you
you're
have to have
saying
the
just
board.
between the three of us, highlight our most important points, put it together, and then just have the other departments review it and sign on instead of having them give us their input and taking that extra time and effort. I like that idea.
What I would be doing with Sherry was, give me your input, what do you think, and maybe getting some numbers from them. And as far as them doing this deal, no, I wouldn't.
So, yeah.
I just think
I will highlight in here and I will turn it into Aaron. Hopefully you guys will do the same. We'll put it together and then once we get that, then we'll have the areas for the departments to sign on.
Well, I did kind of want to get, like information from juvenile and fiscal attorney and. So we had, if there's anything that really affects us, like when Stacy was talking about her inability to do.
Yeah.
So it might be faster if you guys just did your piece and then ship it out to everybody and say, add.
Do you want to add anything? That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying, Shane. Instead of
Okay.
putting it out to them now, we form it off of our highlighting and our concerns.
Oh, I see what
Get it to
you're
her
saying.
and
Okay.
then
Yeah,
once we have it, then we send it out to them and then they can add her to whatever.
yeah, because we can add,
I'd say rather than telling them that they could edit your resolution.
Yeah.
Have them send any comments to Erin.
Perfect.
and then we could,
And then she
and
can
then we
say,
could
oh,
add on a
Yeah.
whereas.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Do I need to make a motion to do that or can we just
No, we
ask?
just-
It's just
We're just
direction.
given a directive.
and we'll-
Okay.
Then we'll vote on the resolution. I don't know that we have to have it by the 20th. If we do, that's good. But this 110 discussion, well, they haven't even open session.
Yeah.
For the short session.
Well, do the work and turn it in and
we'll see where we're at.
we'll see where we're at.
Okay.
Okay?
So when will you guys have your comments into Erin?
I'm gonna get them in as soon as possible, a week or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give myself a personal goal of a week.
Okay. Job classification approval?
What? No, we gotta do
What?
the board and committees policy.
Oh, that's right. I already struck a line through it.
I read through it. I don't have a problem with it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ken. I know that we reviewed it previously.
Yeah, that was a pretty rough draft. I saw, but,
Yeah,
I took some of your feedback from that last meeting and tried to plug it in here.
it addresses and definitely keeps it county.
And if we need to, we can always make adjustments
Okay.
if we need to.
Bruce, do you have it?
No.
And I think the main point of what drove us to this point was just making sure we're getting local folks applying for local.
Right. And not out of the United States either. So, yeah.
It's attached to the grant policy.
Yeah, it's right behind the grant policy.
I've
like
got
paper
stuff mixed up all over the place now.
Yeah.
Right behind the grant policy. Let's see.
That we've already gone through. So it's probably, it may still be attached. You want to, I don't know if you have one, but
Oh, I got one.
We talked about it.
can you show Bruce?
No.
We talked about this before.
Yes, and it's because we had
Right.
people that wanted to be on the committee that weren't in Baker County. So I will make a motion if we're okay with it to adopt the boards and committees policy.
That looks good to me.
You second it and I'll vote for it.
Okay.
Since I haven't read it.
I'll second. So,
All in favor, say aye.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye. Okay, next.
Okay, so classification approval, there's two of them that we've got on the agenda for today, court security through the sheriff's office, and then the second one is an assistant public health director, which is of course through the health department. We did have Megan on. She was hanging around as long as she could. It looks like she had to drop off, but, so I'll start with the sheriff's position, which is the court security. So we've always had this position. It's always been filled with, historically in the past with, retired troopers or city or, retirees, who were typically on patrol and they just wanted some part-time work. It's in the past has been unbenefited, because it's just, we've always had enough people that it's just a part-time, but we've had 2 part-time unbenefited, people in there. This would make, those people have since retired. We've tried to hire, just having a hard time finding anybody. And so we're trying to reclassify this into have an established job description for it. And in the past, like I said, we've always paid just at the patrol rate. This would actually place it at a lower range and pay. Previously, it's been at a 14. Now it would be at an 11, which comes in just under the corrections deputies. So it could potentially serve as like a stepping stone from court security, into corrections, PNP, and then patrol is kind of where those job classifications are. And if you look at the second page, the wage table, you'll see, yes, it's added in that bottom box. You'll see security guard added there as an 11. So this position provides court security, just like the title says. Also, they have come down to commission sessions when we've needed security down here, and just overall security for the building. Yeah. So it's funded partially through court security funds, and also general fund.
It is going to have to come out of general fund. And then will it go into the sheriff's budget after that, or will it
It's
remain?
already built into the sheriff's budget.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, because like I said, we've always had this position, so it's always been funded this way. We're just more or less formalizing it into an actual job description for court security. Because court security is a little bit different than the patrol.
Right.
So we've got this new job description and we're just placing it on the wage table.
Okay.
Okay, what does it do benefit wise?
Do you see on that table?
Same benefits as what the law enforcement group have.
So that's gonna,
Assuming that we're gonna hire a full-time, so it would be a benefited position.
Okay.
you are gonna hire a
Well,
full-time.
we're trying.
So the current, or the 14 is how much?
But it would be at an 11. 14 is up at
Yeah, but I want
54,
to add the benefits on
57.
top of that and see how much we're gonna get hit here.
Deputy 54 at a 14.
The benefits aren't listed on there.
No, I know.
But, the difference is, at that bottom step, what is that? $7,000.
It was 70,000.
Well, I mean, between bottom step 14 to bottom step 11, it's about $7,000 less, cost less.
Right.
So it's gonna hit the budget pretty hard, looks like, right?
No, because it's already funded. We're already paying for it.
It's, yeah. We haven't been paying benefits though
Right.
on
That's what I'm
the
talking about.
other people that have previously been there.
In other words, they're retired, no PERS, no health insurance.
Yeah.
And so now we'll have PERS and health insurance.
But it's lower pay. annual pay.
But-
It is.
but only by whatever you said it was,
$7,000.
$7,000. Well, health insurance is 12, 13, and then PERS on top of that too.
Mhm.
So
Well, and
guess we don't have any choice really, but
we kind of, so what an option could be, which, you know, we could, so what we've been doing recently with those two that have since retired, we've just been backfilling from the jail and from patrol and just filling those spots until we can get someone hired. But we, you know, when we go to advertise, we can hire for, or advertise for full-time, or part-time, or, you know, but we do need to have a job description for what it's cost at. So, that makes sense.
And the sheriff right now is shorthanded.
yeah.
He is, and he would be here today. He's at a sheriff's conference.
Yeah, he
and-
sent us a nice message last night.
He did.
Yeah, that was really nice.
I saw a bunch of expenses for Carlsbad. Was that some deputies go down there for training or what?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Okay,
I guess we don't have any choice in the matter. It's gonna be a permanent expense. And it's gonna put burden on the budget later on, for sure.
Potentially, yeah.
Don't have any choice.
could we ask for a part-time? I mean, we're
Well,
gonna
yeah,
need
we
a
could,
full-time.
yeah.
They need a full-time. but
They
we
need
can ask for
full-time.
part-time.
So whether we fill it here or fill it with an existing, I mean.
Yeah, true. It's not really gonna. I can't believe that your chair's already squeaking.
Maybe not a sit down. I like Rocky. Yeah. I like the chair, by the way.
We had a long session.
Okay.
breaking in.
Yeah.
Well, do you guys?
I didn't sit in those other chairs for 7 years like I did. So, okay,
I don't know any other way.
Well, I don't either.
Talked about this for quite a while and can't come up with any other idea, so.
okay,
And this is just approving this job classification. So
Okay.
it's at the range.
you do that first and then the public health director second, or can we do them both at the same time?
Can we just do one at a time?
Yeah.
Yes, we can. That was my
Probably
question.
should.
Okay, let's make it clear.
Do you want it that way or did you want it the other way? That's
I
what
think,
thought.
I think, yeah,
Yeah,
separately, because
separately.
they're two different levels, ranges.
Departments.
I'll make a motion to approve the court security classification at range 11.
I'll second that motion.
All right, have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Anybody online? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Okay, so the second one, for the assistant health department director, so this position is new. We've never had this position before. It is funded through, the health department's modernization grant. You can see on that front page there, it looks like that grant amount is about $538,000. So there is money to fund this position. Megan talked about earlier today about the, using that modernization money to pay for that
Mhm.
coordinated, media person. or
Media,
whatever. So anyway, so I know there's other, projects out there that are using this money, but there is, Megan looked at it and there is enough money to pay for this. This would be kind of that lower level management, so it's on the non-represented wage table.
Okay.
So it's non-union. And she put in here, just, it's needed to help support her with managing all of the programs.
So if those funds went away, that grant in the future, then this would go away. This is, I mean,
Yeah.
or she'd have to find funding
Yeah.
within her budget
Yeah.
to move forward since it's new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think as far as hiring, if you guys were to approve the classification, that she is looking at maybe just hiring part-time to kind of gauge how it goes, and then if needed, would increase those hours, if needed. So, but she just wanted to kind of play it safe initially, and see. And just also gauge the interest to see if there's any qualified applicants out there at a half-time level. So
Right.
a lot of people are looking for full-time.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I appreciate her being on the side of caution, you know, and going into it.
She's been so busy with everything, I can see the need for it.
Right.
But
And I like that it is funded for now.
you.
I mean, and going
yeah,
into it. So
yeah.
if you guys are okay, I'll
I'm okay.
make a motion for the classification approval for the Assistant Public Health Director. And that would be at range 15
On the non-represented wage table.
on the non-represented.
I'll second that motion.
All right, have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. All right, on to documents to be signed. Is that, we skipped around so much, am I missing?
Yeah,
anything?
no, you are correct, but we are on B, order number 2023-150.
Yep. Okay, we skipped the museum, so appointing a member to the Baker County Fair Board.
Time to expire, Terry, sit away.
Ledford, right?
Hmm?
Baker County Fair Board. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah,
Good
it's
God.
sit away. Terry, sit away.
No.
Oh, wait, no,
I think they've,
I'm sorry. Nat,
uh,
Nathaniel Garrick and
yeah.
Kathleen Parker. So, and this is just one, so we are choosing between Garrick and,
Then the Fair Board recommended Nathaniel.
they did, they,
Garrick,
okay.
But it's ultimately up to you, Meg. So like you have to know that two people applied and
They recommended just one.
Nathaniel.
because there's
Okay.
only
Well,
one
they had
open
asked.
position.
But by Oregon law, they wanted to expand their board, but by Oregon law, it is what it is.
Maybe,
I
I
can't remember
forget.
what it is now. But anyway, they couldn't do it.
Well,
I really,
I don't understand why. It's
Kathleen's,
has so much more experience.
she does with the fair.
I mean, she grew up doing the fairs.
Yeah, and if you look at her references of Lori Thomas and Beverly Chadwick,
Right.
those are really strong references to me. And I think that her, there's just so much more. I was reading this before coming up this morning, and there's just so much more to her application.
I hate going against your recommendation, but I don't get it.
I don't either. If it were me, I would choose Kathleen Parker. Just based off of these
Well, I
two
would
things.
too, because-
And I don't know Kathleen Parker. I think I've seen Nathaniel in a few things, but I don't
Nathaniel
know
was
either one
at
of them.
That last meeting, all of us showed up at the fair board to talk about the.
Right, right.
And then I've known Kathleen for a long time.
Well, and I don't know either one of them, but based off of the applications only, I would choose Kathleen.
Well, yeah.
And something to keep in mind too, this is just finishing out the term that Terry had. So
Oh.
it's only,
It's only
what is it?
Like May of next year.
So it's
May.
only like 5 or 6 months, so.
Yeah.
You know, so it'll be back before you guys again.
Yeah.
I mean, in May.
Okay.
Well, these came to us in May. I was still. Kathleen.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. My vote is for Kathleen.
Well, I mean, you know, why do you want to be appointed to this board or commission? This is Nathaniel Bear. I feel that I can contribute to the fair board's
Mission and goals.
Kathleen says, I wish to be appointed to the fair board because I have been involved with the fair and 4-H FFA for most of my childhood. And now that my kids are of age, I am becoming more involved again. 4-H and FFA are great programs for kids, and I wish to help in keeping it a great experience. I feel I would be a great fit because of my experience and knowledge.
Well, you know where I'm at.
I know. Well,
So it's looking like it's 2 so far
What do
for
you
Kathleen.
I'm kind of leaning that way my own self.
Yeah.
And,
I just don't.
I want to know why.
Me too. I wish they, I mean, I wouldn't wish sitting through this entire meeting.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't get it. I wish they could explain what their paradigms in making this decision is.
You want to table it?
No.
No.
Well, no, because she's only got till May. Or when is it?
Yeah, May.
Till May of next year. So we table it much further.
And they're asking that they have a fair board meeting on November 14th. And they're wondering if, that we can,
It does say.
November 14th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I missed it.
So we're already behind.
Do we have the minutes for that meeting?
They knew that.
Yeah.
You guys wouldn't be meeting, so.
Oh, true. Yeah.
I
You're all
let
in
them know that
AOC.
it wouldn't be until December 6th. so.
Right. Okay.
Well, I mean. Fair boards always mad at me about something. I don't think you'd go wrong with Kathleen.
Oh, I'm not worried. I look at,
So we could just abdicate our votes to him and let him take all the blame.
Sure.
So-
I'll make a motion
Okay.
if you want it. For order number 2023-150, appointing Kathleen Parker to the Baker County Fair Board for a term ending in May 2023.
Second?
Ending May of 2024.
Sorry, 2024. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I saw 2023 in front of me.
We've been here a while, so.
Yeah. My blood sugar's dropping.
Right.
Second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Anybody online? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Congratulations, Kathleen.
So which fair board members are we gonna call and find out what the reason was here?
Well, whoever the chair, I would think.
Okay.
Okay. All right, road order number 2023-151, correcting order number 202-141, the intent to
Actually,
vacate.
if you want to look at the other agenda I printed, it will be the correct version of that.
That's bothering you to no end, isn't it? Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Work on this one too. Road Order 2023-151, correcting order number 2020-141. The intent to vacate a portion of county right-of-way on County Road number 994, Baker County, Oregon. Heidi, do you know what we're doing here?
Yeah, so the commissioners in 2020, this was brought to the commissioners to vacate a portion of this road. And there was an error in the legal
Yes.
description, so this is just correcting that.
This is just correcting.
And then, it follows the intent of what they wanted to do back in 2020. So.
I remember this one.
Yeah.
Yep. And I did go over this
I spoke with Noble about it.
with Noodle and Kim.
Okay,
That is too.
okay.
So whereas the little map on the back, yes, this is the one.
Yep.
Mhm.
So I'll make a motion that we approve order number 2023-151, correcting order number 2020-141 in the matter of the intent to vacate a portion of the county right-of-way on County Road number 994, Baker County, Oregon.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Aye, aye.
Aye, aye.
We really got it. I think we're gonna not do,
That,
Other
no,
updates?
no, I don't.
have it in here?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Transient lodging tax. Where are we at?
Chelsea Blatchford.
Yeah, order number 2023-152, appointing Chelsea Blatchford to the Transient Lodging Tax Committee.
I think she'd be good.
And they're starting to get back to how they're actually supposed to be set up with.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The structure of who's sitting on the board and. Mhm, mhm.
Want me to make it?
Sure.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we approve order number 2023, appointing a member to the Transient Lodging Tax Committee, which would be Chelsea Blatchford.
Mhm.
And for a term expiring August 1st, 2026.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, big audience now and nobody online, so all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion
She
carries.
was actually asking about this last night at the museum.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I said, I'm sure it's on the table. So,
Bruce is up.
Yep. Financial report review and ratification.
okay. I'll make a motion to approve accounts payable and accounts payable reports M15, V22, C66, C67, C68, and C71. And payroll and payroll accounts payable reports C12, C13, C14, and C69, and other financial reports, treasurer's financial report for the month of October of 2023.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Look like it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. All right. Commissioner update and comparison of calendar. Do you want to move to the
2020.
20th?
I mean, 1220.
Holiday schedule.
So in the past, the commissioners every year review what our holiday schedule is for Christmas and New Year's. And in the past have closed the courthouse or county offices at 2:00 on Christmas Eve, I guess, which this year falls on a Sunday.
Sunday.
Yeah. So last year, I think it was on Christmas Eve was on a Saturday. I think The commissioner still decided to close at 2 o'clock that day before.
On that Friday.
The last business working day before Christmas.
Okay.
And so anyways, it comes to you guys every year to decide if you want to do that or not.
I think that would be nice.
I think I voted against it last year.
Might have to post Bob Cratchit wants
So-
another day off too.
So that would be closing at 2 o'clock on December 22nd, Friday, December 22nd.
Yes.
And then are we back in here on the
so-
26th?
So we would be closed the 25th, reopen on the 26th, and then we are normal hours on New Year's Eve because it's the last day of the year, and you know, for the tax office, they have to have that time. So we normally don't close early on New Year's.
But that's Sunday.
Oh, that's a Sunday anyway, so it doesn't matter.
New Year's Day is on Monday.
Yes, and we are closed Monday the 1st.
First.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't matter there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So
New Year's
the only,
Eve is
the only
Sunday.
change that we're making is the 22nd.
22nd.
At 2 o'clock, we'll close, and then we'll be closed on Christmas Day, of course, 25th, and then closed on the January 1st.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm good with that.
Do we need a motion?
You can if you want.
Or
but
just a directive?
Just.
We'll
we
just
can-
direct you to do it.
Okay.
Okay.
So, yeah, we've had some folks asking and what the plan was, so.
Yeah, so I mean, you want to make plans if you gotta leave on Friday or whatever, so. Yeah.
That's their Christmas bonus.
Yeah, so how that works with like the law enforcement group is basically because it's 3 hours, equivalent to 3 hours off, they flex their time. Because
Oh.
not all of them, you know, some of them just have to work, so.
Okay,
So they flex 3 hours at some point.
okay. And the only thing that we should remember is this Friday night is our Christmas party,
Right.
county Christmas party at the
Starts
office.
at 5?
Starts at 5. I got the snowballs ready.
Where'd you get them?
Road department.
They're special snowballs that they're gonna be throwing at us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna miss that, dang it.
Dang it.
Hopefully somebody will videotape it.
You guys,
You're not gonna be there?
Yeah, we have a basketball game in
Oh,
Prairie
really?
City.
you
Well,
guys,
there's a basketball game that I could go to, but I already signed up, so I guess I gotta go.
don't forget to take your 110 home, mark it up and get it back to Aaron.
Yeah.
Or take it
Yeah.
somewhere and you, the
Are
packet,
all of the resolutions in there?
all of them
Okay.
are in that. So take that, it's the easiest to take that and then I'm taking some other
Bethel's
stuff.
staff sent those over to us. so.
No,
she
that's
did?
great.
I
That's
appreciate it.
She
Bethel's.
did, that's where,
Yeah, that's where I
Yeah.
got it.
I'm trying to
Yeah.
figure out where there was a template, and I called Union County and.
And I'm also, and it- you
I've
know,
got, I've got skills. I know
Nobody
people.
told me.
We didn't
and,
ask the right people.
I know.
and remember to, if you guys want to hold on to this stuff on Marble Creek, take that. with you.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Okay, instead of giving it back in the packet. Okay,
All
are we
right.
done?
Oh,
Do you need a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned.
Aaron, can you wheel me back into my house?
Oh, you have stuff to sign first, so,
Oh,
you know.
you have like, what, a lawyer to get me
Sam's
up
gonna
out
have
of
to
here?
pay you back for this long
Yeah,
one.
so,
Jeepers.
what did you do to deserve that?